How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the TimcastIRL podcast. We got some crazy stories tonight. Some dude got shot.
Yep.
We're hanging out. I'm Tim.
What's up, Tim?
How's it going?
How you doing?
Oh, I've got some
You
art.
do look awfully different without your facial hair. So.
And imagine if I was wearing like a red shirt.
You should have done it.
I have one.
You should have leaned into the switch.
Just change everything. Wear a baseball cap.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You're like, who's this guy?
A baseball. That would.
That
freak-
I do not
That's too
own.
much. That's too much.
No baseball caps.
Anyway, what's up, everybody? I'm Adam Krigler here. How you doing? Thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate you. What up?
We also have the other person.
Oh yeah, the person in the corner. Sour Patch Lids. Hey guys.
So some dude gets shot in New Mexico. It's clearly self-defense.
Definitely.
Apparently, the dude's not a member of a militia, so this is a crazy story. They're trying to allege that this dude was a militia member and he attacked some protesters and then opened fire on a crowd. This is where it gets crazy when you actually have journalists arguing for things that don't actually happen, and it's like, man, I have to wonder what's wrong with their brains.
Yeah.
Like, there's this one journalist that I've known for a long time. He just snapped.
Really?
He tweeted out.
How so?
He tweeted out that a militia member, opened fire on a crowd or something. Okay, so now that we know this guy's not a member of the militia,
Right.
can you retract? No.
And we've seen the video.
And he
too.
never opened fire on a crowd. Why would you tweet that? And when people were like, yo, when I politely hit him up and I was like, did you watch the video? Like, this doesn't make sense. He just started smack talking. And I'm like, what happened to these people, dude? They've genuinely gone insane.
Our narrative is the best narrative. All things need to show our narrative.
I think
Yep.
it's just NPCs, you know? Like, they say
Yeah.
whatever they have to say to function, like beep boop 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 boop.
We
It's
must
like
keep
robots.
the wheel turning
Yeah.
correctly.
Yep. Exactly.
We got another really crazy story.
Oh, great.
NBC, working with UK activists and far leftist activists, contacted Google with a list of companies they wanted banned. And Google actually was initially reported banned Zero Hedge and The Federalist. And then I think they actually banned them
Whoa.
for hate speech. But then the story went so viral so fast. Like, even Donald Trump Jr. was like, haul him in for subpoena the CEO, bring him in, regulate, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, Google goes, whoa, we didn't ban the Federalist. That's not true. We didn't do that. And apparently NBC says they have an email confirming from the spokesperson that they banned the Federalist, a conservative website.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they panicked once they saw how rapidly viral the story exploded.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking like 4,000 retweets in like an hour. People were freaking out, dude. Because this is one step beyond getting someone banned on social media.
Wow.
The Butma private platform thing. This is like a mainstream, high-profile conservative website. One of the most prominent conservative writers, Molly Hemingway, writes for them. Appears on Fox News all the time.
Wow.
And Google stripped them of their ad revenue.
Wow.
And then backtracked immediately. No, we just meant the comments. So that's crazy. And then, you know that Mike Gundy dude?
Yeah.
The coach from OSU?
Yeah, I've heard about this.
Yeah,
Seen it.
his spine fell off.
Oh dear.
Of course.
Yeah,
Sounds
or he never had
uncomfortable.
one. He took off his OAN shirt and then apologized for all the hurt he caused by wearing a T-shirt. Oh, poor baby, did your spine fall off? What a loser. I wonder. Hey, Mike, let me ask you a question. How does it feel to live on your knees?
It got stuck to the shirt when he took it off.
Right.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, he was pulling his shirt off. It snagged his spine. It just came right out. And then he
Right
was
out.
like, "Whoa, I better bend my knees to these people." No, but let's be honest. He's bending his knee to that fat $1 million paycheck, whatever he gets paid. I guess he gets paid millions of dollars to be a coach or something.
Yeah, he doesn't
Yeah.
want to lose. The
What a
best,
loser.
The best career.
You know what,
ever.
man? You know, I gotta tell you what. I'm not a fan of OAN. I don't watch them. But I'll say this: you don't deserve to wear their shirt, and they should be proud that you took it off because you have no spine.
Oof.
What a loser. But there's a couple other there's a couple other stories. No, I have look, man. If you're a leftist and then you come out and you're like, I'm so sorry I offended someone, I'm like, well, at least you're being true to your own principles.
Seriously.
Like, you don't want to offend people, you think other people shouldn't, and then they call you out and you bend the knee. I'm like, well, your knee was bent the whole time. I don't care. But this guy's supposedly a fan of One American News, conservative, Trump supporters.
Right.
And then they come for him like, your shirt offends me. It's like, I'm so sorry that my shirt offended you. What a loser.
I'm willing to put money on the fact he's going to vote for Trump this year.
You think
Yep.
so?
Totally. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what? These people don't deserve it. They don't deserve to have someone else come and ride on a white horse to save them when they're too stupid to save their own lives. So you know what? I hope the money's worth it, bro. And I hope your kids get to grow up in whatever future you actually think they're going to get.
Oh.
But the reality is he's leaving behind one of the worst possible futures imaginable. by bending over backwards because some dude got mad. I can't believe he wore a T-shirt. He doesn't understand how offensive that is. Shut up. A T-shirt for One American News.
Is this the subject we're going to talk about later?
Oh yeah.
Should we just talk about it now? You're kind of revved up.
We're gonna do this. Hey,
Look at all
Okay.
this gold you just spouted out
I
there.
know, right? He's
I don't
on
normally
fire.
insult people, but this was I've been really pissed off because listen, man, when they start trying to get Google to ban rival companies, and Google's like, okay,
It's like that taxi company you were telling me about.
yeah, in the Murray Hill riots.
Yep, they
taxi
burnt down
company.
their rival.
Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's not
So
cool.
I'll tell you what, man. For years, people like me have been warning conservatives, and conservatives have been warning conservatives, that if the Republican politicians don't get off their asses and actually try and fix either Section 230 or some kind of antitrust legislation, they will be crushed. And you know what's funny? You know who was talking about breaking up Facebook and Google? Warren, Elizabeth Warren, Ocasio-Cortez,
AOC, yeah.
Democrats.
Yep.
What are the Republicans doing? There's a bunch of them. They're going like, well, I don't think we should interfere in the market. Oh, yeah, okay, dude. You know, I had an argument with some dude in Milwaukee when I was speaking at this event. And this conservative guy was arguing with me saying we shouldn't interfere with private business. They can choose what they want to do. And I was like, okay, fine. I don't care. I was like, you're the conservative. So I'll tell you what, in 5 years when your ideas no longer exist because they've completely obliterated you, I'll keep saying what I want to say because I'll be the one to be banned last. Like, so I'll still be here. You guys will be gone. Your ideas will be gone. Your culture will be gone. Fine, whatever. If you don't care about it, that's what you want. Now, I think most conservatives are actually like, yo, this is getting out of hand. But anyway, we'll talk about all this stuff. That's why I'm saying I'm mad about this guy with the shirt. Because he's supposedly a conservative guy. Yeah. And then the first thing he does is he literally crawls to his knees sobbing like a poor baby. Please don't take my money away. I'm so scared. Oh, poor baby. Anyway, check this out. We'll get to it. I'll insult him some more later.
Oh my gosh. Tim.
Awesome. Wait.
Let's talk about
Oh yeah.
racism.
Yes.
You see, these are banned. These are racist magic cards.
Ooh.
Yeah, now that we're talking about cancel culture. So I got these cards in the mail. This one's autographed. I'm really excited about this. These are Magic the Gathering cards, and you may have seen our segment where Wizards of the Coast, the company that publishes this game, banned several cards because they said they're racist. This card is called Imprison. I have no idea how or why, in any way, this is racist. Because of the art? Because some people happen to be brown? Is that supposed to be racist? It's literally just called Imprison. People go to prison in all different countries on the planet. There are many white people in prison. There are Latinos in prison. There are Asian people in prison. How about that? Oh. But this one, you can't even see the guy's face. They banned it. I got this one. This is autographed by the artist. Let's talk about buying some banned art. Now, this one's really funny. Check this out. This card is called Jihad. Now, I guess this one's banned for obvious reasons. Jihad, I guess, is offensive, even though it's a literal thing.
I have the definition right here.
What does jihad mean?
I'll read it. Jihad is the Arabic word that literally means striving or struggling, especially with a praiseworthy aim.
That's
Praiseworthy. Praiseworthy. Wow. And so Magic the Gathering early on, and this is, I think, what, like 1990. This is like an early card. It's like 94.
Yep.
Was Arabian Nights the first expansion?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it was. Maybe not.
I don't recall.
This is one of the earliest cards from the 90s, and it's literally just called Jihad. And its function is to make your creatures stronger when they're targeting a certain color that you choose.
Thing.
So it's literally like
Your white creature is stronger.
Oh.
It specifically says
you're
that.
right.
Oh,
There you go.
Okay.
That's what it is. It makes the white creature stronger.
But it's
That's it.
jihad. It's not even, it doesn't even make
What?
sense.
It doesn't really matter.
It's like you can't even talk about religious themes at all.
They opened the floodgates because they made their colors that was just a game mechanic
It means white magic.
that separated the different styles of different kind of magic that they created. They opened it up. So now anything that has to do with white creatures is racist. Anything that has to do with black creatures is racist.
Oh.
Dude, the whole
They
game's done.
ruined magic. I saw this whole thing and came out and I'm like, wow, they really just effed themselves
Yeah.
by saying, oh, this makes white creatures stronger. Ban it. It's racist. All right, well, that's like all of white is terrible.
It's literally 40% of the game.
White
and black.
already was kind of the weakest color in Magic. I mean, that's just a simple fact. People who play Magic, they probably agree with me.
Yep.
It was weak. So now pretty much anything that makes white stronger, ban it. So white is just, you know what? Just get rid
Dude.
of Get rid of white.
Yeah.
For those that,
Get rid of the color, the whole color of white. Just get rid of it.
For those that aren't familiar with the game,
Oh my
it's
God.
basically, it's called Magic the Gathering. It's about, I'll simplify it, wizards fighting each other, and there's goblins and zombies, and you
Yep.
play cards, and the cards do things.
Yep.
And there's white magic and black magic. Hey, just like in the movies.
Oh.
And then there's red, green, and blue, okay, which is like, fire, earth, and water, or whatever. And they have sub-themes as well. And so they decided that because the color white can make white creatures stronger.
Whoa, whoa.
White creatures.
Oh no.
Ban it! They started banging the gavel. Harumph! We cannot have white creatures. So I wonder how the game will continue to exist if they're literally banning cards because
That kind of goes.
Says-
It's the dominoes. They're falling, and it's happening everywhere now. It in all things. It's not just Magic the Gathering. Like we take a step back and you look at all the things that are happening. It's like statues are being toppled. It doesn't even matter what the statue's about. It could be statues of black men that were like glorified for being awesome and being trusted to, like, they were like, oh, you know what, these guys could probably do it, and they were like, yes, we can, and they did. And no,
what is the statue referring to?
It was the 54th.
Oh, the
454th
54th. Right.
Battalion or
What,
whatever.
what is it?
The 454th Battalion. I think
Right,
it was.
right. So
Yeah.
They vandalized it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
back in the day they were like, oh, we can't trust that these soldiers will fight. We're just going to send them in the garrison.
Dude.
And it's like, no,
Nailed it.
these guys actually went out and fought like true men. It's like
were
equality.
heroes, yeah.
It's proving equality, and they want it all taken down.
Yeah.
I'm hearing rumors that they want to
Doesn't
tear
make
down
sense.
a Lincoln Memorial
Right, exactly.
because that was actually paid for by former slaves honoring Abraham Lincoln for emancipation.
Wow.
And they want to tear it down because it shows Abraham Lincoln standing and there's like a slave rising from his knees or something. Like, so I guess it's racist. Dude, can we, hold on, man. You know what? I think we should help out. Just look, why are we going through these motions? It's a waste of time. We know where we're heading. Okay? Everybody,
everything.
everybody, if you're listening, no, just, I want you to go out. I want you to order a gray jumpsuit with no pockets and no
Okay.
symbols on it.
Okay.
All right. I want it to be, Velcro in the back.
Yeah.
Shave your heads. Wear the
Oh.
jumpsuit. Everybody get white slippers. All right, there you go. And we'll all live in Soviet-style commune blocks where everyone's got the exact same houses.
And if we find you wearing clothes other than this gray jumpsuit,
Canceled.
It's over. You're canceled.
canceled.
You're a Nazi.
done.
You're done.
No more
Yeah,
work.
Banned.
Banned.
They're banning everything. It's like
Anything and everything.
that's why you're hearing a lot now. People are talking about like Muhammad, for instance.
Okay.
Well, yeah, like there's offensive things about literally everybody, so they go for the most offensive possible, targeting Islam. Like, okay, let's go straight for, but it doesn't work that way. Like, what people need to realize about how these bannings work is that the left is cheating. Like, they don't literally care about these things. That's why they're out protesting right now in huge rallies. And they're going, oh no, Donald Trump's going to have a rally. What do we do? It's like, I don't know. You just had a rally too, so who cares?
Right.
And they're like, well, actually, we're braving COVID because we believe in our cause. But Trump shouldn't have a rally. It's like, what? You know what, man? Reality is broken. It's completely broken.
Yes, it is.
Because the media,
I will agree.
I wonder, as like, are there two Brian Stelters, like at CNN? Did like reality split and then like he like separate into two different beings? One who's like, we mustn't go outside because of COVID, and the other one going, protests are noble and valiant.
Yeah.
Now, I don't actually know what his stance is. I'm just using his name kind of randomly.
Cognitive dissonance.
But it's funny to see the CNN staff being like, we can't go out because of COVID and Trump is reckless. This needs to stop. And then also being like, look at all the protesters doing their thing. And Chris Cuomo being like, yeah, protests. Who said they're supposed to be peaceful? It's like CNN split into like bizarro CNN.
Q Ramen Man.
Right. We know
Yeah,
now.
ramen bro.
Robin, bro, you're
You
the
guys see
best.
that-
We got to get that man a beanie.
Seriously.
Did you guys see that video of the dude just like sitting there and he's like pouring ramen spice and crunching on ramen? And then it plays the clip where Cuomo's like, who said protests are supposed to be peaceful? And then it shows the First Amendment behind him. He goes, it's the First Amendment. You just got to look it up, Mr. Cuomo.
No. He says Mr. Como.
Mr. Como.
I was like, yes. Added
He
insult
just-
to injury at the end.
Yes.
I don't know if you've caught that, but listen to it again. You'll hear it, Mr. Como. I'm
love
like,
it.
oh.
Why, did he just pronounce his name wrong or what?
Yeah, a little bit.
I hope he did.
I
We
was
just
on
gotta
purpose.
look it up.
Yeah.
It was
Just
amazing.
just gotta
Could you,
look
could
it
you
up.
imagine being an anchor host for the highest rated CNN show and not having Google?
Ooh.
Or not even knowing what
tough.
like the text of the First Amendment is? Like,
That's pretty embarrassing.
I'd be
Yeah.
willing to bet if I went to Chris Cuomo and said, can you name all of the rights the First Amendment protects? He'd be like, It's speech. And I'd be like, right, the other four?
Yeah.
No? Okay.
Go ahead, name them.
It's the freedom of speech, the freedom of religion, the freedom of assembly, the freedom of the press, and the right to a redress of grievances.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the First Amendment. And the Second Amendment is...
Right to keep and bear arms? Yes, thank you.
shall not be infringed. Yeah, but like it's really astounding to me when I see all these people covering these stories and they're like, they don't know what Google is.
Yeah.
You know, I have to wonder about that. Have you ever tried, like, if you know what I do? You know what I do when I hear a story?
Mm-hmm.
Someone's like, "Did you hear about the militia guy who shot somebody?" I'm like, "Whoa!"
Open up a browser.
I just type it in. I go doot, enter, and then what happens? I see a bunch of news.
A whole world of information.
It's funny.
Washes over me.
You say Google it, but I don't use Google anymore. But I still use the term Google it.
Yeah, it's like a verb.
And it's like, okay, I use Band-Aids. That's actually not what they are either. Adhesive
Kleenex.
bandages.
Adhesive strips.
Yeah.
And now Band-Aid is rolling out. There's like this news release, I guess. They're doing multi-skin tone Band-Aids.
Diverse skin
Oh, really?
tones, yeah.
Yeah, which is
My
just...
gosh. Just give me Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ones that are good quality,
Great
and I'm happy.
equalizer. Yeah.
I don't care.
I'll take some Care Bears.
Disney
I'll take
princess.
some,
Yeah, man.
you know, whatever you have, as long
Yeah.
as it literally covers up the wound. I'll put some Neosporin on it or something.
Mhm.
But how about you guys who are watching? Adam, can you ask them to do us a favor?
No, I'm not going to ask them.
He's
Tell
gonna
them.
tell
I'm
what
going to tell
do.
you to smash that like button.
Yes.
Smash, 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 smash.
Smash. And
Smash it. Yes.
let's talk about this dude who got shot. And before we do,
Woo,
make sure to
change of
follow
tone,
me
man. Woo.
on Twitter and Instagram at Timcast.
Yep.
You can follow at Adam Krigler as well on Twitter and Instagram. Send him story
What
ideas
up?
on Twitter
There we
because we
go.
use those story ideas.
Actually, I'm going to take this moment to yes, we use those on the show, but go on my Twitter. I have a meme creation station
yeah.
right now with where do I have it right here?
the meme contest.
Yes.
There it is.
So
For a skateboard.
this board I'm going to be giving away. Well, we're all going to choose a winner on Friday. And you guys can choose a winner yourselves by going through the memes, picking the one you like, and just smashing the like button.
That's right.
So you think whoever gets the most likes?
We're gonna give a board out to the most likes. Whoever gets the most likes, you're gonna get a board. Best meme, and then we're gonna choose on Friday who we think is the best meme, and you're gonna get one of these boards.
What
and
if it's the same person?
It's this image. Well, then
And
it's,
we'll sign them, too.
We'll
We'll
save
sign the
on
boards.
shipping and handling, I guess.
Same
Okay,
person.
perfect.
One person makes the best memes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess we can. Ooh, this is nice. Look at
I
that.
have the
look at
metallic
top.
Sharpies, yeah, so we can do the front or the
Yeah,
back.
what color is that? Is it magenta?
I don't know.
I love
I
it.
like it a lot,
Magenta.
though. This is nice.
Magenta. Bright.
Really brings out my eyes.
Oh, it does, yes.
There you go.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyway,
this board
so
can
check
be
it out.
all yours. Just send us your best memes.
That's right.
Yeah.
But don't forget, you can also follow at Sour Patch Lids, LYDS,
There you go.
for spicy memes
Also
on
more
Twitter.
memes.
And you can send her story ideas.
Yes, indeed.
But let's talk about this dude who got shot, man.
Oh, yeah.
KDAT7 says cell phone video shows suspect shoving several women down before firing shots. Now, I chose this story for the segment for a reason, because this is not the only outlet that's trying to make it seem like this guy was the bad guy. First of all, if you want to be truly fair, you got a conflict going on. Two different factions arguing over whether the statue should come down or shouldn't come down, and they disagree. Now, I think to be fair, you've got people trying to break the law and other people saying, don't break the law. So I always err on the side of don't break the law. So, of course, I inherently have a bias towards the people saying, hey, stop them from breaking the law. Now, if you want to start getting into the nitty gritty of it, all that really matters is when this fight breaks out, this dude in blue, which they have circled right here, runs away. They chase after him yelling, we're going to kill you, and start beating him with a skateboard. And then he draws his weapon, and it looks like he's hit in the face or something. And then he makes 4 shots, critically injuring a man. So he's in critical but stable condition. I don't know. I mean, I hope the guy's okay. But listen, this is a lesson, man. And I mean this with I mean this in all seriousness. This is what happens when people without guns start fights with people who have guns.
Yep.
You know, that should be a very important lesson. You know these guys are armed. Don't run after them screaming you will kill them, because self-defense.
It didn't look like he was armed. They didn't know he was armed, but that's not the important thing here.
Right? Doesn't matter if he was or wasn't.
Right,
Yeah.
correct.
What if
this is exactly what I've been talking about. This is what's going to happen.
They're going to show up and guns are going to go blazing.
They're going to start meeting up. Now they're going to meet up with people that have guns. and they're gonna start getting killed.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Cities, you're not allowed to have a gun in New York. You're not allowed to have a gun. All the guns that are in New York are either in the cops or illegal.
Well, no, I think there was a Supreme Court ruling
Right.
not that long ago, and I think now they're forced to somehow allow weapons. I'm pretty sure.
In New York State, in New
Everywhere.
York City.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
when,
we'll
I,
see if you can-
when we were living, I lived in New York
Can
for a
you
long
wanna try
time.
and see if you can pull it up?
And I was under the impression there's no guns allowed
I don't
at all.
So I remember
That's what stop and frisk was for, wasn't it? To get rid of
illegal guns.
illegal guns.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
So I know New York is really, really strict.
Yeah.
But I remember, growing up in Chicago, they had insane gun laws.
Okay.
And then there was a Supreme Court ruling saying you can't stop people from bearing arms. So Chicago freaked out and tried passing a whole bunch of crazy gun laws to make weird loopholes to block people. Like,
of
okay, you
course.
can own a gun, but it's got to be like this shape and it's got to be like this size and it's got to be in your trunk and stuff like that. And then what happened was, I guess that got struck down too.
Okay.
And now you can concealed carry in Chicago, I'm pretty sure. And so all these businesses started putting up signs saying no guns allowed in their businesses so that they can, they can't stop you from walking around with one. But most of the businesses in Chicago are like, you can't come in my building because it's private property.
I
Yeah.
see.
Did you,
Okay.
what did you,
Yeah, so it says, I found an article that says in much of the country, cities can't enact their own gun laws. So it looks like there's a preemption laws that limit local regulations of firearms, which must have been what you're talking about. That's from 2018. Does that sound about right for time frame?
Yep. I had already left New York by that point.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes
So
sense.
I don't know but check this out. My main concern here, as I agree with you about the gun thing, these people are going to get a cold splash of water in the face, to put it lightly.
Yeah.
When they start showing up in New Mexico and other, I'll put it this way. This is actually funny because I pulled up I got these two Wikipedia pages. New Mexico, Albuquerque specifically, is 40% Democratic, 34 Republican, and 25% unaffiliated. Not the most Democratic place. Philadelphia actually is 82% presidential election Democrat. That surprised me. And even in Philadelphia, armed men are showing up to defend statues. So I'll tell you what, man, people, you only need 10 people who are, it doesn't matter what their politics are, 10 people to say, yo, you can't come and destroy this statue. For these people to get a cold, wake-up call when someone's like, you come at me, I'll defend myself. Now, but this is funny. Check it out. The article here is trying to blame the dude. And here's what I find fascinating. I want to play this clip for you. So in this clip, they circle it. They're desperately trying to justify this guy's the bad guy. But you can clearly see in many of these videos, it's actually the women attacking this dude.
It's actually the same woman.
Over and over again. So look at, they're shoving him around. And then hit him with a skateboard.
Wow.
He straight up swung it at him.
Look at this, dude. You can see him. So watch. The guy in blue. Now watch his skateboard come for his face. He swung a skateboard at him. Dude runs away.
Chased by a woman.
You can really hurt somebody with a skateboard.
Oh, dude.
Like,
yeah.
seriously hurt somebody.
Like, you can kill somebody with a skateboard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The trucks are heavy. I mean, yeah, a board by itself, if you swing it on the edge, it's like that can hurt. But then you add the weight of the trucks,
Dude.
and you hit him with the trucks too. That was a truck hit to the face.
If you go a full,
That's serious.
So the truck gets the metal part on the bottom. If you go a full swing with that, like a baseball bat,
Yeah.
Kill somebody.
death shot,
For
kill
sure.
shot.
Yeah.
hit him right in the nose,
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
force it in the
So
brain.
this
yeah,
guy's
could
running away,
kill him.
right?
Easy.
What do we got here? This is a Facebook video, and it's funny. Like, this article is, look at this. But Steve Baca before he shot the protester.
What a jerk.
So look, they saw him shove that woman, right? But wait for it. She's grabbing him and he pushes her off. And it looks like he says, "Don't touch me."
And also, notice how that video cut in right then, as opposed
So you can't
like,
see her grabbing him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long was that going on?
Yeah.
Now
I've seen this too often, where suddenly another video will surface where it's like 3 minutes longer, and you're like,
Context.
"Oh,
Yep.
what's this?"
Yep.
Then you see the whole thing.
propaganda, man.
Man.
But to be fair, take a look at this next part. It looks like he does grab this woman right here. He looks like he instigated that attack on her.
Yep, definitely, I agree.
So check it out. She's climbing up, and then he goes up behind her and grabs her.
Yep, not cool.
Not a saint. Dude's
Nope.
clearly not a saint.
Nope.
Yep. Well,
Check it out.
tensions are clearly rising
He grabbed.
throughout all of this.
Look at that. He pulls her down. Not cool, bro. So he should definitely get charged for that, in my opinion.
That's assault.
For sure.
Technically, I think.
But check this out.
But they're all assaulting each other. It's
Right.
like I'm not
Right.
saying anyone's right here. They're all assaulting each other.
Yep.
The one thing I did notice is he walked away after someone already swung a skateboard at
He
him.
runs away.
Yeah, he went to leave.
Yep.
And then they're like, "Let's get him."
No, they said we're going to kill you.
You're right.
Dude.
Even more damning. That's what you
Seriously.
say to someone. What do you think's going to happen? That right there, hearing that, someone say that, he should fear for his life then.
Yep.
If they said, let's kill this dude,
Yeah, that's a credible threat.
So
right?
and then they start
definitely.
beating him with a
Yeah.
skateboard, he
Yeah.
pulls a gun and shoots him. Like, I am not surprised.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I've been worried about happening.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this won't be the
Man.
last time, man.
Oh, no.
So
I agree.
So here's the other funny thing that happens, because even I was calling this guy a militia guy because that's what the news was reporting.
Yeah.
Because a group called the New Mexico Civil Guard showed up to defend the statue. Eventually, they stopped. So I don't know what their deal was entirely.
Stop defending it, you mean?
Yeah. So I think they were not so heavily like there to just defend the statue.
Okay.
They were there because there were no cops and these protesters were marching around and there'd be riots. And they actually walked away and were going to sit back and watch them tear the statue down. This guy apparently has nothing to do with them.
Okay.
And so the media reported that this guy was part of the militia. He's apparently not. The militia guys were wearing camo. This guy was wearing a blue shirt.
Yeah.
So they actually published this message, the New Mexico Civil Guard. They said, there's a lot of speculation encircling the shooting in Albuquerque. I want to let everyone know the shooter was not a member of NMCG. Our guys held him at gunpoint until the police arrived.
Oh, wow.
NMCG was not involved in the shooting. It was a moment of chaos, and our members took point to prevent any more rounds from being fired and to stop the angry mob from continuing to attack. Edit. Our members had stepped away from the protesters, stepped back to watch them pull the statue down. They were nowhere near the shooter. They ran towards the shooter when they heard the shots, disarmed the shooter, preventing any more protesters from being shot. They circled the shooter to prevent any of the protesters from their continuing attacks. Our members did not pick a side. They stopped the violence on both sides. And I want to add, too, in the video, you can see the New Mexico Civil Guard actually renders aid to the man who got shot.
I saw that.
So I believe them. I do. I don't think this guy had anything to do with it.
Yeah.
I think this guy was like, don't tear the statues down. And then everybody started hitting each other, man.
Yep.
So they're hitting him. He's hitting back. You know, he pulls a woman down. Someone swings a board at his face. They push him around. He runs away. They chase after him saying, we're going to kill you. They actually start beating on him. Pulls out his gun. Pop, 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 pop. That's it. And
Yep.
these guys stepped in and got the guy on the ground. The guy immediately puts his hands behind his back.
Yeah, he wasn't running. He shot and then just sat down. And you
I
saw
think
him.
he
He was
knows.
just sitting
Yeah,
there. He was
knew.
like,
yeah,
they were running from him. He was probably like, I'm glad I didn't just die.
right.
So this guy apparently he got charged with aggravated battery. That's what I saw so far.
Okay.
They say, what's really crazy is that the city immediately demonized the militia, that they were instigating or something like that. And it's like, man, how crazy is that? Like these guys now putting out a statement like this. He's not one of our guys. Like we stopped the violence and held this guy for the police to come and get him.
Yeah. How are they?
Yeah,
How are they
sounds like-
spinning that though? That's like, this is what we're gonna have if there's no
Dude.
police.
It's
Yeah.
It's gonna be
because
these militiamen.
listen, man.
They're actually doing a pretty legit job. Now they're gonna demonize them. It's like,
I can
what
tell
do
you,
they want?
I can tell you exactly why the mayor of this town said the problem was the militia, because people like Mike Gundy have no spine. So for those that were listening in the previous, for those that weren't, Mike Gundy, his coach, wore a T-shirt, got attacked for it, and then apologized. Just today, he's apologized. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry for hurting people's feelings for wearing a T-shirt from OAN. When
I don't
mayors,
even actually. I don't think I heard him say that.
yeah.
I think he did like this. I'm gonna have to go rewatch
We'll
it.
go
'cause
through
I
it, but
kind
I
of
don't-
came in while you were watching it, and from what I heard, it sounded like he was just kind of saying,
Soft
"I'm
shoe.
sorry for the things you're going through," kind of vibe.
We'll talk about that.
Which I don't know if
the
it's
reason
better.
the reason I
Yeah,
bring it up
no.
though is just it's another example of a high-profile individual who immediately gets on his knees groveling for forgiveness from a mob that doesn't care.
Pathetic.
don't-
So when the
care.
mayor sees that there is absolutely no support or spine from the conservatives who get targeted, they say, "I'm not going to. Who's got my back on this one?" If a guy who's a fan of even OAN won't tell everyone to shut up,
Well, what about this whole Tucker Carlson thing?
Tucker doesn't back down. That's for sure.
Yeah, but and I see so many people that are coming to his defense. That's proof that it is out there. They are standing up for him.
There are a lot of people. I guess the issue is conservatives are more likely to be, I don't know, keyboard warriors, I guess.
Or the lack of it. I feel like a lot of them don't have Twitter, they may have Facebook with small circles, but aren't on internet. They're just out living life.
To be right, it's true, and they have kids and families
Yeah,
and they have
works,
jobs.
Yeah.
Did you just agree with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I think
We're all in agreement.
I will
That is
say
a breath of fresh air.
to be fair to the conservatives too, there's a threat to your children, so a lot of people
Yeah.
don't want to step up. But also, it's Antifa will use violence against them if they come out,
Yep.
and they will be demonized by the press if they try to defend themselves, just like this story. So there really is a disadvantage. You know, in my opinion, you still have to just speak up. If people like this Gundy guy or Drew Brees or whoever else just told everyone to shut up,
Yeah.
then this would not be happening. If you bend the knee, you lose, and everyone loses around you. But check
Yep.
this out. Just check this out, because I want to jump into this idea. We had more guys show up in Philly. Now, this I find truly fascinating in reference to what's going on with like this New Mexico stuff. You know, it's, when these guys from Unicorn Riot came down, they got smacked around a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about it. I think that's complete BS. These dudes down in South Philly should not be putting on masks, threatening a dude who's filming, telling him stop filming and stuff, and they're pushing
Not
his
a good
camera and
look.
they're grabbing his bike. So it's like what Antifa does.
And they slash the bike tires too.
Is that what they did?
Seriously?
Dude, that's
Oh,
gross, man.
rude.
It's like, why? What are you doing? You
let-
want him to leave, but now you cut his,
Now he can't
his
leave.
transportation.
let him walk around with his camera. Who cares,
Yeah,
dude?
yeah,
Is this guy
exactly.
really a threat to you?
All right, I don't get it.
But I'll tell you what, man. They call these guys far right.
Okay.
They literally are tweeting, far right and right wing, extremists or whatever. It's like, dude, you're in Philadelphia.
That ain't far right.
82% Democrat.
Not right
These
at
guys
all.
are not Republicans. These are like union Democrats, like they're like union boys, man. I'm assuming these guys work for some trade and manufacturing.
Yeah.
They work probably some in offices too, machine shops, like regular dudes.
Yeah.
They're wearing like football shirts and stuff. They think these guys are Republicans or far right. That's insane, man.
Yeah.
They're going to get a rude awakening when they realize, even regular Democrats, they're going to come out with baseball bats and they're going to smack you up a little bit.
Right. The Democrats are fighting each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure, man. Take a look. I love this. I pulled up the demographics for Philadelphia,
Oh.
and I find it hilarious. It's 82.3% Democrat. Look at that.
Holy
Okay,
cow.
so let's be fair. Maybe these guys who showed up fall into the several hundred of the 108,000 Republicans. It's possible.
There's a chance, yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
a decently good chance.
Sure.
I got to say, though, I don't think these guys are political. I think for the most part, dudes showed up when they said some crazy jerks want to come and smash up our town. So
Yep.
they came out with baseball bats.
Right.
Dude, I remember I was at a protest on the south side of Chicago. Chicago of all places, which is like as blue can be. And a bunch of these far leftists were walking down Halstead
Okay.
on the south side in Bridgeport. Now, for those that aren't familiar with Bridgeport, all right, it's Southside Irish. It's by this U.S. Cellular Field.
Okay.
It used to be called Comiskey Park or whatever. It's where the Sox play. This is a bunch of
Boo.
low income Irish people on the south side of Chicago, and a bunch of like commie far left anti-capitalists started marching through screaming. And you know what happened?
Fight.
Oh yeah, they
Big
came
fight.
out and they pulled their shirts off and they started just
Oh,
boxing
man.
people
That
and
sounds like
punching
Irish
them.
people.
Oh man.
I'm like, so I used to live over there for briefly, and I knew some of these guys, and like they're Irish, not from Ireland. You know what I mean? Like their great grandparents or grandparents are Irish.
So they're
But-
Americans.
They're Americans, but I mean like they literally call it the Southside Irish. That's what like they refer to themselves that way.
Okay.
It's this area where they're all very proud of their heritage.
Combative
and
alcoholics.
a bunch of commies show up screaming in their neighborhood, and then the cops are coming out, and they come out and they're like, "What are you doing? Like, what are you doing in our neighborhood, man? Who do you think you are?" These are people who do not mess around. These are not Republicans.
Yep.
These people, if they even vote, probably vote Democrat. And a bunch of far leftists showed up. They started boxing them out.
Yeah,
and they beat the crap out of some of these people, man.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of these issues or things that we're seeing, it's not even a political thing anymore. They live in their neighborhood.
Yep.
They could be Democrat or Republican, but they're probably friends with Jimmy over there, who's Democrat, and Johnny over here, who's
Dude.
Republican. Well, they're all gonna group up and be like, "You're gonna come into our neighborhood. We're gonna box you."
Well, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
And that's in a blue state.
Right.
Now we see when it starts getting into the country where it's a little more purple, and
Yeah.
you start to pull out guns.
Dude.
Then you go a little further, see what happens.
You see what happens when these people riot
Mhm.
in downtown Chicago or in Manhattan, and the cops are like, "Oh, we better back off," and like, what do we do? And they just let them riot. I got some advice for all of these people, man. If you're listening and you're one of these Antifa people, man, heed my warning. You definitely do not want to go into South Philly
No.
You definitely do not want to go to
North
like
Philly.
South Halstead in Chicago and bring that riot. Bring that riot to Bridgeport, and there are going to be people rolling up with big illegal guns.
They will be happy to see you.
Dude, I like the people in that neighborhood. I've seen them pull their cars over for like minor squabbles and pull out a chain and wrap it around their arm and start swinging it and
Oh my
slamming it.
gosh.
Like, dude, this is South Side of Chicago, man. These are people who are like, you don't disrespect me.
That's
You know what I
exciting.
mean? This is, and I gotta admit, it's like I don't like the violence, but what I love about America is that you can be a poor person on the South Side in one of these neighborhoods and tell the rich dude, go F yourself.
Yeah.
You know, these people come in. You bring that riot to the local pub, no one's gonna see you ever again, dude.
Someone tweeted at me the other day because I've kind of been saying this, like you're gonna meet some real Americans and you're not gonna be happy.
You're not gonna like it.
Someone tweeted at me, they're like, yeah, I haven't got any good aiming practice since 73, and it's like, oh
Oh boy.
But this actually gives me hope. The South Philly stuff, because as much as I'm worried that these high level institutions are being taken over by lunatics and cancel culture is getting like serious. They're trying to ban conservative news websites now. I imagine if it ever really got to the point, like when I think about some of these neighborhoods like South Philly, if they actually came out and said we're banning all hate speech, they'd immediately start screaming and throwing bricks at them. The riots would be out of hand from people like these South Philly guys. They'd come out with guns and be like, I don't care. I literally don't. And they'd walk up to these crazy SJW, commies and just be like, nope. So this is the interesting thing. These people aren't activated.
that's it.
They go to
I
work.
know.
They go home. They hang out with their kids and their family.
Yep.
They vote. They watch the game. But now the game's politicized.
Oh, I'm telling you now though, they're waking up.
Yep.
Yeah, because they're football players that want to watch the game, and instead they're talking about social justice.
Ugh.
So I can imagine there's some like dude who's like 40 years old and got a big beer belly, just got back from work, sits down, cracks open a Miller or something, or High Life, and he's like, he flicks on the TV, and then he's like, yeah, let's you guys want to watch the game? He turns it on, and it's like, now my question about racial justice has to do with how many police departments do we really need? And they're like, what is this? Change a channel, next channel. Well, when the players kneel, what they're really saying is, what is this, dude? Can we watch some football or something? I can imagine what they must be thinking when they show up to a Christopher Columbus statue with baseball bats and masks and guns. These
Over
people
it.
aren't Republicans, man.
Over it.
Yep. And I wonder, you know how you see riots when a football team wins or loses?
Yep.
That feeling these people have where they're willing to riot for literally nothing. What do you think is going to happen when you take that game away from them? They're not going to be rioting with you, dude. They're not going to be screaming anticapitalista or smash the patriarchy. They're going to be just screaming and foaming at the mouth, waving baseball bats around.
Yep.
And they're going to come for you. So this gives me hope. It does. I recall my old days living on the South Side of Chicago, and I'm like, these people don't pay attention. And I imagine if they were forced to pay attention, all of these far lefty crazy people would really regret it. Dude, I'll tell you what, too, especially the Italians. I think that's probably what we see in South Philly, because Christopher Columbus was put up. There was a lobbying campaign by Italian American groups to have some kind of Italian, icon, I guess.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
That's my general understanding of it. Could be wrong, but something like that. And now you've got people coming in and literally trying to target your family's heritage or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah, they're not going to stand for
not
it, dude.
nice.
Things are going to get spicy, to say the least. But let's do this. Let's talk about the next wave of cancel culture.
Oh, let's do it.
This story is probably one of the craziest stories I have ever seen.
Yeah.
And they've walked it back already. Check this out. NBC News says Google bans website Zero Hedge from its ad platform over comments on protest articles. A Google spokesperson said in an email that it took action after determining the website violated its policies on content related to race. When they initially reported this, they also added the Federalist was banned. And they admit, the reporter claimed that they were working in tandem with an activist organization, I believe a UK-based activist organization, and a US-based activist organization, contacting Google with a list of websites that they want banned, and Google said yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So Tim, who's our competition? We should write a letter.
Oh, that's a good idea. Crowder. Stephen Crowder.
Stephen Crowder.
Google. Hey Google.
I'm just kidding.
No, sorry, no.
We
shouldn't.
like
No, they already-
Stephen
I know,
Crowder.
Crowder, you're awesome.
No, they already went after him. That's why I'm like,
They already did that too.
Yeah, all right.
now
They're
Crowder's
not
mad at us. I'm just kidding. But that's the game, right?
Yeah.
Who's the limousine to our taxi cab company, right? The Murray
Ooh,
Hill
I know,
riots.
yeah.
Right.
It's like, Now, I'm not super concerned. I guess it's technically NBC. So should we start a nonprofit charity organization called Ending Hate and Sending Love? And then we'll target anything that NBC ever does where we're like, they're so bigoted.
Yeah.
Google, are you really going to search and, index this so that people can find this? And then one by one. Now, I don't actually think it's a good idea, but NBC is doing this, and they actually say that there's like a list of 10 websites. Let me see if it's a...
Oh, hit list.
Yep, their hit list.
Very nice.
They changed the article because they were wrong. What's interesting, though, is they changed it from 2 websites to just Zero Hedge. And the other thing is they were claiming victory. Like, we teamed up and we did it. Yahoo! It's like, actually, Google says they banned Zero Hedge last week.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Fail
Yeah,
on
so
every front.
NBC, no, sorry. But check this out. They say Google also issued a warning on Tuesday to the Federalist over comments on articles related to recent posts. Wait a minute.
Comments?
Doesn't Google like Section 230? Google wants to hold a website responsible for the content of other people?
Whoa.
Amazing, isn't it? How
so weird.
utterly disgusting, Google.
I'm so sick of this.
Yeah.
Google will go to a hearing where they're like, under Section 230 protections, we can't be held responsible for the content posted by other people.
But everyone else.
And then they look over and say, now, the content posted by other people on your website, well, for us, that's fair game, because we're in charge.
Uh-huh.
Well, now Donald Trump Jr. tweeted, in response to this story, because this freaked everybody out.
Yeah.
Dude,
As it should.
I think Google did ban the Federalist. I think they did.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
So the initial report said that Google confirmed they banned the Federalist. And there's even a statement. Look at this. We have strict publisher policies that govern the content ads can run on and explicitly prohibit derogatory content that promotes hatred, intolerance, violence, or discrimination based on race from monetizing. When a page or site violates our policies, we take action. In this case, we've removed both sites' ability to monetize.
Wow.
Wait a minute.
So it says
But NBC says just Zero Hedge. They say they just issued a warning to the Federalist.
Wait. Didn't they tweet out? Didn't Google tweet out we did not demonetize?
Yep.
But it says it right there. They did.
Exactly. So is NBC lying?
Interesting.
I don't think-
Who's lying? I
Google
bet
is.
they're both lying.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
don't. No, listen. I don't think NBC would make up this email because that's libelous.
Yeah,
and
good
they could
point.
easily be targeted by Google. Here's what I think. When this story broke, I immediately tweeted it out. NBC News contacted Google to target their competition to get them banned, and Google said yes. Thousands of retweets very, very quickly. The story exploded. So many people were blasting it out. And then all of a sudden, like an hour later, Google goes, no, we didn't ban anybody. What do you mean? This is clearly a misunderstanding. I think I have the tweet here. Yes. The Federalist was never demonetized. What do you mean, guys?
That's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Look at this.
What the heck?
We worked with them to address issues on their site related to the comment section. Our policies do not allow ads to run against dangerous or derogatory content, which includes comments on sites.
What?
Cake and eat it too, say the least. Huh?
Seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
Google, you're nasty. And we offer guidance and best practices to publishers on how to comply. As the comment section has now been removed, we consider this matter resolved and no action will be taken. I am sad to see that the Federalist had to remove their comment section, but I got to be honest, I don't care for comment sections anyway.
They stink.
Yeah.
And there's other ways the Federalist can resolve this, but I still think it's complete BS. The Federalist should not have had to remove their comment section because they're protected under Section 230, but Google doesn't care. Now I'm telling you what I think happened.
No, Google thinks they're above it,
Yeah.
and there's a difference.
They got the power.
Check this
They
out.
care. They care if it does affect them, but they are above it, and they don't. They're
Well, so-
like, "Psh, we're not even affected by this.
In that line of thinking, here's what I think happened. I think Google was like, we're getting hit up by NBC, better ban them, and did. And they said they did to NBC. But then all of a sudden, a trend emerged on Twitter showing that this was one of the biggest mistakes Google made in terms of banning some kind of platform.
Yep.
And then they realized, we're going to lose more money.
Yep.
Quick, go back.
We
went too far.
They flicked a domino down, the first one, and it's like that's what we were talking about the Magic Wizards of the Coast earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They banned a bunch of cards that didn't make any sense just because it revolved around a color of identity of a creature. That there's 5 colors in Magic, so
One of those colors is white.
Now, if you're white, you're racist, and it's like, wait, okay, so you're adding racism into the game by doing that. So Google is basically shooting themselves in the foot here.
Well, it's worse than that. You know what I think happened?
Worse, way worse.
I think some dumb, really dumb like content moderator person
Okay.
gets the email, and they go, "Oh yeah, I'll delete Federalist. Deleted. We deleted them." And then the lawyers for Google got wind of it when the story broke, and they went,
Hair on
"Oh
fire.
dear God, the
What?
FTC is
Yeah.
going to drop a hammer on us,
Yes, they
and
are.
we are now going to be regulated." Welcome to the club, Google.
Woo!
There is nothing you can do at this. You know what? I got to be honest. I'd like to say that Google will now be regulated to some extreme degree, or even broken up. I don't believe it because I think the GOP is particularly ineffective, so they're not going to do anything. I mean, look what they did with 2 years of controlling every branch of government, or the
nothing?
House and the Senate, I should say specifically.
Yeah, they did nothing.
Nothing. They wasted. I mean, to be fair, you had Paul Ryan and who else was still there? A bunch of them retired because
yeah,
they
they
were
all
losers.
left.
So maybe they're doing better now. To be fair, I'm not confident they're going to do anything.
Yeah.
I do think people like Trump Jr. and because I know Trump Jr. is particularly active in all the stuff. He's sat down
up
with,
on it.
Yeah, and he's done stuff with like Dave
Yeah.
Rubin about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I think he's paying attention, and he just tweeted out in response to this, "It's time to haul them into subpoena them and get the CEO because they're out of control." Yes,
Here.
I think they banned the Federalist, and then when the lawyer found out, they're probably like,
Quickly.
yeah,
Switch it back.
They convened
Undelete.
a huge meeting. Probably got convened, and they were like, "Oh no,
Who did it? You're
You're
gone.
fired.
You're out.
So
Yeah.
fired.
I'm sure.
No, I don't know about getting fired because it was the policy. It was a matter of time before they went too far. And what's crazy is like I'm worried about getting banned. The Federalist is conservative.
Yeah.
And they banned NewsGuard gives a negative rating to the Federalist, but it's still extremely high profile. You've you've got Sean Davis and you've got Molly Hemingway, very very high profile conservative
Yeah, very
personalities.
respected.
And Molly is like, yeah, seriously.
She's talented, yeah.
Some conservatives have praised her as being like one of the best writers, and she's appeared on Fox News. So this is like Google went way over the red line.
Yeah.
And now I think you might start seeing Republicans be like, "Oh, you mean we're actually in trouble?" You see, the GOP didn't really do much when it was Paul Joseph Watson or Milo Yiannopoulos
Okay.
or Laura Loomer. It was like, "Oh, these people got banned. Well, I'll give them a stern talking to." But now they're coming for the Federalist. Now you're probably going to see some of these more mainstream Republicans start sweating bullets like, "Oh, whoa, are they really
I actually
like
have to do something.
yeah, or not that that's like, am I going to get reelected?" Oh. Because is Google only going to allow far left propaganda to get monetized and conservative point of view will just be erased? Yeah, maybe they're not realizing what's really
Should've
going to happen.
figured it out earlier.
Yeah, maybe from the
Losers.
people that watch mainstream media.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, it's ridiculous.
What's the percentage of people you think that actually watch mainstream media, though?
It's a lot.
Just curious. What do you think?
Most 80%.
80% of Americans, you think, watch mainstream media?
Now, to what degree is the bigger question.
Okay.
I think most Americans probably passively will have like the news playing from some standard network outlet, and they're going to get fed some trash news. And I think it's one of the reasons why Sinclair has been buying up a lot of local news stations. Sinclair is considered to be more conservative
Okay.
because they know that the average person is just watching Fox or ABC or CBS or something.
Okay.
Liberals get 95% of their news from left-wing outlets and mainstream outlets. Moderates, 60% mainstream left, 30% conservative. And conservatives is inverted, 60% conservative, 30% liberal mainstream. And then there's like a breakdown of some other, the remaining 10%. And that makes sense. Moderates and conservatives get along on a lot of issues, disagree on some issues, and they get their news from slightly different places, but understand each other.
Okay.
The left doesn't know at all what's going on, at all. Like, I'll tell you what, man. My activisty friends who are like super into Black Lives Matter are still posting to this day that a man fell asleep in a Wendy's parking lot and then was shot and killed by a cop.
Wow.
And I'm like,
Nothing about his DUI?
You left
or
out
his,
the part.
Rather, second DUI?
Well, hold on. You left out the part where he was in the drive-through lane with his car running, drunk. Like,
right.
That's
Sleeping.
Right, passed out drunk. You don't want to call it sleeping,
Yeah.
Good point.
And then you also left at the part where he has a violent history, and
Yeah.
they called for backup.
And
Taser in
he
his
was out
hand.
on parole.
He beat two cops in a fight.
Yep.
When they tried to restrain him.
He did.
Stole
That's a
the
good
weapon.
point.
Yep. Stole the weapon.
Yeah.
Ran, turned around, and fired it at the cop.
Yep.
And then only after all of these things
Right.
did the cop respond.
Right.
So that's because they don't actually read the news.
Yeah, they don't care to.
But it's
So I
like
said earlier, the narrative must fit their narrative, or else, and they'll carve and take the whole story and cherry pick all the things, put it together in a nice little package.
It's nice and neat.
There you
Black
go.
and white. Yep.
Did you hear
Pass
about
it around?
Yep.
Did you hear about Fox News and the Photoshop scandal?
What with the
It was the
guy
Chaz.
who pulled a gun on
No,
someone?
on the Chaz. There was a photo of the Chaz, and they photoshopped one of the John Brown Gun Club guys, I guess, with
No,
the
I
rifle.
didn't hear about this. No.
So Fox used a thumbnail for some articles
Okay.
that showed one of the guys with guns at the Chaz, the Chop, in front of like a building that was destroyed. It was very clearly, in my opinion, not a direct representation of what was going on. It was just like a thumbnail graphic that many news outlets often do.
Okay.
Where they make what they call a collage. Now, this one was very like borderline, in my opinion. Like from far away, if you scrolled through, it might look like there was an armed guy standing in front of a destroyed building. But I would say every single news outlet has a graphics department, and they do similar things. But I think Fox News got, they were either just at the line slightly over it or whatever. So there was some, something to call out. But I talked to some people, and they're like, that proves Fox News is completely fake. And I'm like, it's one thing. It's like one thing that happened one time.
From one person.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like one. So like we can talk about the things Fox has got wrong. They have.
Right.
We can talk about New York Times, CNN, MSNBC. If you want to talk about getting something wrong, let's talk about MSNBC.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't want to talk about it. They're like, well, I'm talking about Fox News right now. And I'm like, yep, Fox News gets things wrong. It happens.
Yeah.
Are you satisfied? No, you still want to act like Fox News is the worst of the worst. They're not. MSNBC is way worse. And Fox, actually, I'm sorry, MSNBC is not news.
I'm just so sick of this blame game. That's what everyone does. It's this person's fault. It's this person's fault. I don't have any ideas. I don't want to actually work towards anything. I just want to blame.
Yeah.
The blame game.
It's easier.
It's much easier.
A lot easier.
It's frustrating.
Well, check this out. I want to highlight this right here. The NBC says Google's ban comes after the company was notified of research conducted by the Center for Countering Digital Hate, a British nonprofit that combats online hate and misinformation. They found that 10 U.S.-based websites have published what they say are racist articles about the protests, and projected that the websites would make millions of dollars through Google ads. The NBC reporter who wrote this claimed they worked together. Overt activism.
Wow.
Overt.
Worked with Google?
No, worked with the activists to label, to target. So what they did was they claimed initially, and I believe this is true, that because of 2 articles the Federalist wrote claiming the media had lied about what was going on with Black Lives Matter protests, they submitted those articles to Google, and then Google said they banned the Federalist.
Wow.
Now Google's trying to walk it back. Maybe it's a good thing that Google is walking it back. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it shows that there is a hard line. Could be a bad thing. Maybe it shows that Google has no, like, they have a line that they're willing to cross, but they went too fast, and maybe they'll just keep doing it.
It looks more like Google, like a chunk of their armor fell off, and they're scrambling to put it back on. It's not like they're walking back. I mean, sure, technically speaking, they are, but it feels like they are like, whoa, this is a threat to our superiority in the media realm.
It was too fast.
Let's talk about one of the better responses from Mike Cernovich.
Okay.
He responded directly to their tweet. Enjoy being regulated because it's going to happen. GOP is too weak, but Democrats will take up the action and Google won't have a friend in the world. Yep. Elizabeth Warren wanted to do it. You know what's really funny? Mark Zuckerberg and a lot of these big tech companies were like, we must take a hard stance on hate speech. And then all of a sudden, Elizabeth Warren and some Democrats come out and they're like, we're going to break up Google and Facebook and regulate. And then all of a sudden, Mark Zuckerberg comes out with the PSA. I've had time to think about it. And I think free speech is paramount and very important. And what he was really doing was like, I'm really hoping that the Republicans win because the Democrats are going to break up my company. And so please, someone help Donald Trump win. And then now they started defending free speech, even after they already banned a ton of people. But now they're backtracking, saying we're appalled by Donald Trump's statements. They can't figure out who's going to win. Yeah. That's the funny thing. They can't figure out.
Who's they? The media?
No. Zuckerberg.
Oh yeah.
Big tech peeps.
Big tech.
They're like.
So they're like,
who do we?
They're like,
put our eggs in their basket?
They're leaning to the left because they're convinced Trump will lose. But
Not
then as soon as the
quite.
left said we're going to regulate you, they were like, and then they went to the middle and they're like, oh, what do we do? What do we do?
It's true.
Oh, it's
Oh my
coming. The end is
gosh.
near. So this is funny. Google actually hired some people specifically to liaise with moderate and conservative commentary channels.
Interesting.
Yep.
When was that?
Last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I can't say too much about it, but I know they did. And that says to me, I think they're worried about Trump getting reelected and they're worried about this. And now I think it might be too late, man. I'm not convinced. Like I agree with Mike with Cernovich that the GOP is too weak. I don't even know what the GOP is doing, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's the other thing I talk about. Like when people are like, "Why are you always ragging on the Democrats, Tim?" I'm like, "What are the Republicans doing?" Like,
They're just literally not doing a thing.
literally doing nothing. Yeah, it's like all you have is the conservatives being like, "Look at all these problems from the Democrats," and then you have to be fair, you have Rand Paul blocking things, but that's good. That is taking action. Ted Cruz has called this out. Matt Gaetz and Josh Hawley.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's like nothing's really happened in 4 years. This stuff's been going on since what, 2013, 2012?
Oh yeah.
Escalating, getting worse and worse and worse. It's truly incredible.
I mean, if you really want to talk about it, like real reform, like nothing's really changed in a lot longer time than that. 20 years,
Yeah.
30 years. Like what really has changed?
What do you mean? A lot's changed in terms of government.
Yeah.
I mean, like Glass-Steagall repeal and the allowing of banks to use savings for futures investments or whatever they did. That supposedly contributed to the financial collapse, essentially using people's money. Like, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on that stuff, but there have been a bunch of dramatic changes. Barack Obama changing the rule on the definitions of words in healthcare. Title IX reform, flipping back and forth.
Yeah.
A ton of stuff that's actually changed.
Okay.
Obamacare, for instance. So we've actually gone through a ton of different changes. We've gone backwards. You know something crazy? Do you know what the involuntary mandate was?
What?
Under Obama's healthcare deal, if you didn't buy health insurance, you had to pay a percentage of your income in a fine at the end of the year.
Wow.
The individual mandate?
The individual mandate.
Yeah.
That's
I was
what
like,
it's called, right?
involuntary. That doesn't sound good.
Well, that's basically
Yeah,
what
I
it
mean,
was.
yeah,
you know.
but yeah.
The individual mandate.
Yeah.
Trump got rid of it
Wow.
because I mean, it seems unconstitutional.
Yeah.
Forcing someone to buy a private product.
Yeah. That's
So-
not okay.
And dude, I'll tell you, it was really scary. So, an individual I know, I'll try to protect their privacy to the best of my ability, was panicking because they didn't make enough money to pay for health insurance.
Okay.
But they made enough money to where they were going to be fined for not having health
Man,
insurance.
That's
Wow.
not right.
So they were like, "What do I do? What do I do?" It's like I'm going to lose a little bit of money, but I can't afford to
What
spend
do
the
I
extra
do?
money.
What do I do? Stop voting blue.
They didn't vote at all. That's the thing. This
Ooh,
is somebody
don't
who
be
doesn't vote.
passive.
That was just in my
And then
head.
one day woke up and they were like,
Oh crap.
it's going to cost me, they were concerned that it would cost them like $300-400 a month for insurance. And if they didn't pay it, it was going to cost them like $100 in fines. So they had no choice but to pay the extra fine and lose money. Something like that. I'm probably getting the numbers wrong, but they were like, I'm going to lose all this money at the end of the year. And I don't have any money to begin with. I'm poor. And I'm like, yeah, that's the funny thing about how this works. You can be poor-ish, but just not poor enough
Yep.
to where you actually get hit by these things. You don't qualify for benefits, things like that. That's
It's
a real
nonsense.
challenge for people,
Those are
man.
hardworking people too.
Yeah. Well, how about we talk about some sports?
Ooh,
Sure.
Sports.
sure.
Someone I saw a few people in chat booing me because they like the White Sox.
You booed the Sox.
Yeah. I'm a Cubs fan. What can I say? Whatever. I went to a bunch of Cubs game as a kid. I listened to Harry Carey. I sang with that dude.
I
It
was
was fun. I watched him win. I was in Sweden actually at the time.
when they won the World Series.
Yeah, it was like 4 a.m.
Right on.
I was
I was there. I was
I was
outside
like,
Wrigley.
woo! Started screaming in the house. I was like, oh wait, it's 4
It's
a.m.
4 in the morning in Sweden.
I was
I probably
out-
woke a bunch of people up. I didn't.
I was
care.
outside of Wrigley Field,
Cool.
and cops were lined up like it was going to be a riot.
Uh-huh.
And then after they won, like most people just walked calmly home in huge crowds.
Oh.
Yeah, it was great. Standing outside of an empty stadium, and they won. And it's a crazy moment for the Cubs, man.
Man, what an awesome game. That was such a good series.
But why don't we talk
That
about
was
this
good.
guy here?
Anyway, yeah. Sorry, what are we talking about?
Mike Gundy apologizes for
Oh.
pain.
Hold on, let me prep my
Discomfort.
ears for a Tim rant.
Yes.
Oh, man.
I'm
Okay,
ready.
I'm
No,
ready.
I
I'm
think,
ready.
I think,
Oh, did you get it out already? See,
Little
this is
bit.
what I was telling you. You gotta
It's fine.
Gotta
Save
save
it.
it,
They
man.
got to hear it.
Yeah.
Check a story out. Oklahoma State Cowboys coach Mike Gundy apologized Tuesday for the pain and discomfort he caused his players and others because of a T-shirt he was photographed wearing, and vowed positive changes for his football program.
While fishing.
What pain was caused to anyone because he was wearing a T-shirt?
Yeah.
It said,
for a news network.
Seriously.
because it's the network that Trump likes. But they're far right.
Not even.
The apology came one day after running back Chuba Hubbard took to social media to call out Gundy for wearing a T-shirt from OAN, One American News. A photo showing Gundy wearing the shirt appeared on social media. In the day that followed, Gundy and Hubbard appeared in a video message together that drew widespread criticism. Then Hubbard posted twice more about needing to hold Gundy accountable for pushing for change. In the Tuesday afternoon video, Gundy said he met with his players, who told him why the shirt affected them. One American News is a far-right news network that is often cited by President Donald Trump. What does far-right mean to these people? You can call it a Trump loyalist network.
Sure,
but are they like
that's
are
fair.
they laissez-faire capitalists arguing for the dissolution of the regulatory state?
I don't think so.
Are
just
they
really like
ultra
Trump.
traditionalists saying that women should get back in the kitchen?
Nope.
No,
Not
they're
at
just
all.
Trump supporters.
Yep.
Doesn't mean anything. Far right. This is the funny thing about the far left is they're literally Marxist.
Oh yeah.
Like they're actually advocating for a far left economy
Yep.
and culture.
Oh yeah.
The far right isn't even far right.
Nope.
Anyway, all right. The network, which is a fraction of the audience of Fox News, I don't see why that's relevant, has tried to position itself as a place for a pro-Trump audience that believes other conservative news outlets have become too mainstream in their reporting. It recently criticized the Black Lives Matter movement. I had a great meeting with our team today. Our players expressed their feelings as individuals and as team members. They helped me see through their eyes how the T-shirt affected their hearts. Once I learned how that network felt about Black Lives Matter, I was disgusted and knew it was completely unacceptable to me. And it was at that moment that my spine fell clean out of my shorts and I seemed to have misplaced it. No,
Well,
he didn't
he was
actually
on
say
a
that.
boat at the time.
It
It
fell in
fell
the
out.
water.
So
and
maybe
then I
boating
tell you what,
accident.
and then a fish jumped right up and grabbed it, and then it swam away, and I'm like, oh, geez, what am I going to do? So, now it's really not my fault that I have to apologize. I mean, my spine was stolen by a fish, right?
You know what it
Indeed.
feels like? You know the horseshoe where they're coming back to meet each other.
Yeah.
So it feels like the far left has gone so far. It's like, when you go off screen and you appear on the other side of the screen. That's what it feels like. They're like, poop. Now they are the far right, and they're looking around. They're like, oh man,
Well,
this is where we are now.
It's the horseshoe. They touched.
Yeah.
That it's like someone tweeted that it's the teardrop theory.
I've
Yeah.
never
That
I've never
authoritarianism
seen more.
ends right at the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
spot.
Yeah,
I've
they
never
do.
seen more racist stuff than I have in the past.
He apologized. Check this out. I want to
2 weeks.
apologize to all members of our team, former players and their families, for the pain and discomfort that has been caused over the last 2 days because he wore a T-shirt.
Wow. To go fishing.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
For all we know, somebody was like, "Yo, here, you got your shirt wet." You're like, "Oh, you spilled your beer. Here's a shirt." It's like, "Okay," and he puts it on.
Yeah, and also, when you fish, you don't wear your good shirts.
Yeah, seriously.
You wear the
Or
shirts you
your
don't
tatty
care about.
shirt you don't care
Right.
about anymore.
Right. It's like, what? Come on. Well, I mean, I used to be a fisherman, so like I know the deal. You get blood.
You don't wear a tuxedo
you
to
get-
go fishing,
Yeah,
Adam?
it's not a clean, I don't know, sport or hunting. Hunting isn't clean.
Right, exactly.
Check this out.
Silly.
You want to know the world you're helping create, Mr. Gundy? Saints quarterback Drew Brees apologizes again for
Again.
comments.
Oh my
What
I
did
will
he
do
do?
better.
What did he do in the first place?
Oh.
He said, "I will never agree." I think he said, "I will never agree with someone who kneels for the flag." Or
Yeah, someone who disrespects the flag.
disrespects the flag.
Right, because my grandfather fought for it.
Yeah,
That was his line.
that was it.
That's it.
That's it.
I will never agree with someone who disrespects the flag.
So you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to disagree with someone.
Yeah,
I
apparently
will
not.
never agree with you.
No. They're allowed to disagree with you, and you got to bend the knee.
Right.
Yeah.
Peasant.
So all he said was, "I won't ever agree with somebody." That's
Who did-
it.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That's sad.
And no. But did you notice
But
I
he
read
needs to
the
apologize
again?
twice. Yes. Again.
No, I think he did it like 4 times, to be honest.
His wife did it too and
Well,
everything. Oh,
the
man.
more you apologize, Drew Brew, whatever your name is, it's like, dude, the more you apologize, the more they're gonna want you to apologize.
Mm-hmm.
There is an
It's just a
ancient.
cycle. Oh
There's-
wait, we could probably get another one out of him.
Oh, totally.
Squeeze harder.
Yeah, struggle session, bro.
Yep.
Keep smacking them around. There's an ancient, I believe it's a Greek proverb. A society grows great when people plant trees in whose shade they know they will never sit.
Yep.
This is the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Drew Brees and Mike Gundy are like, "Oh, sorry, son, I gotta chop the tree down because they're mad at me."
They say the tree is racist, so
the tree is
I gotta,
coming
I gotta
down.
chop. It's a white oak.
Oh,
so
man. Ooh.
yeah.
A white oak. Is that a real tree?
Yeah, it is. That's a real thing.
Oh, nailed it.
Nailed it.
Welcome, my friends, to the world that people like Mike Gundy have wrought.
Wonderful.
SDG&D worker fired over alleged racist gesture says he was cracking his knuckles.
Oh my gosh.
Let me take you to a world and tell you a grand story. Once upon a time, there was a man, a Mexican man, who was out for working on his dream job, he said. Finally getting a job with the electric company. He was driving his truck on the way to work one day when he stopped at a light.
Okay.
Outside of his car, he reached his hand and stretched and decided to crack his knuckles. And in the midst of cracking his knuckles, a zealous fanatic noticed, well, that his hands had made a particular motion.
Oh.
Oh no.
Dare I say, this man was accused of making a white supremacist hand gesture.
Oh my gosh.
And he got fired for it.
I'm so sick of that.
And he
Dude.
got fired for
The
it.
OK symbol.
The perfect signal.
I just took
Here's a photo.
I just took the course for scuba diving. You know, you got to take a course.
Oh, no, you can't use that anymore.
Oh, is that part of it? Because it's in the book.
It is in there. Yep,
when
I
you're
know.
when you need to show that everything's okay, that's the symbol.
You can't
Yep.
do it. Nope.
You can't.
Take a
do
look at this. Look,
I'm
look,
gonna
look.
do it. I'm gonna do it, Tim.
You want to do it? You want to get
To-
clipped out of
when
context?
I'm
I'm gonna do it. I'm
You
gonna
have
say
to.
okay.
You have to in the test. That's what you. They're like they test you like, all right.
You
So
know
what's the symbol for okay? And
you know what'll happen
show 'em
right
what-
now?
Everything was okay.
You know what'll happen if you make the OK symbol right now on that camera?
What they'll clip it.
They'll
Yep.
clip it
Yep.
and they'll say white supremacist show. I'm not
gosh.
kidding. I'm
Don't
100%
do it.
serious.
Yeah.
And then it'll appear on a bunch of far left sites, and then you'll get people who work for NBC News sending it to Google saying they're making white supremacy hand gestures.
People are so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Well-
starting. I'm
Yeah.
starting to feel you now, Tim. I gotta push you up, push
Listen.
you away.
Look at this image.
Get away.
Hold the picture up.
Okay.
You
Here
see
we
what
go.
he's doing here? That's not even his index finger. You can see the shadow between his fingers. It's clearly like
Yeah,
his
it's
ring
middle
finger.
ring finger.
He's
yeah.
cracking his knuckles.
Oh,
He's
my
a Mexican
Lanta.
dude. He said he didn't even know what this was. He said, when my supervisor said that I was being accused of doing a white supremacist gesture, that was baffling. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get over this, but to lose your
Aw.
dream job for playing with your fingers is a hard pill to swallow.
Oh man.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Dude, it's
this
beyond
is
ridiculous,
insane.
man.
This
It's
is not
insanity.
fair.
Look at the chat. Everybody's just...
Oh no.
The
Thanks,
chat,
everyone.
as far as I'm concerned, is just telling us that
Based.
everything's okay.
Yeah, I
That's
tweeted
right.
it once.
I love you,
good.
chat. Chat, you guys are awesome. Yes.
I-
Where am I? This one?
Yeah, yeah.
When
Chat,
this-
Oh yeah.
When this whole thing started, I tweeted the OK symbol.
Yeah.
And then responded to it saying, I just want everyone to realize things are going to be A-OK.
Yeah.
And a bunch of leftists started go like... screeching and like
I
running
love it
around
when
in
you do that.
circles.
That's great.
And they were like, Tim Pool's mask has slipped. He's done the emoji.
Oh.
I'm like, oh no. I used an Apple emoji on my Twitter account. What does that mean?
Quick,
people are
you
nuts.
better cancel the emoji.
Bro,
Ugh.
I once
I'm
made a...
surprised it's still a thing.
Seriously.
There was an article that came out that said it was from the Guardian, I think, that mixed race people have something called something akin to hybrid vigor, where it's like there's less likelihood of genetic defect among people that are further apart in genetics.
Okay.
That makes sense.
I made a video about it, jokingly talking about mixed race supremacy,
Oh gosh.
and they started
Oh,
screaming.
no.
Yep.
Oh no, Tim.
But what?
Why?
But what do you think the left said? What do you think they called me when I made that,
A
that
white
video?
supremacist.
Yes.
Of course,
That's
yeah.
exactly
I'm
what I
like,
would guess. Yeah.
what?
Excuse me?
This is why I can't stand these people, because I can't even make a joke about myself
Yeah.
talking about a scientific article where it's literally talking about why homogenized race is less like is more likely to have genetic defect. You can't even say that, because no matter what you do, politics flows in one direction.
Yeah.
It's like make the okay hand gesture, white supremacist. Give a middle finger, white supremacist.
Eh.
Do the dog wolf pack from NWO, ooh, white supremacist.
Do anything.
bird.
Do
Ooh, butterfly.
anything other than what we say.
Yep.
White
Yep.
supremacists.
Yeah.
Wear an OAN
That's what I'm
shirt.
seeing now. It's
White
like
supremacist.
Yes.
people.
Don't wear a white. Don't wear an OAN shirt. Also white supremacist.
Yeah. Silence is violence, man.
Silence is
What are
violence.
you going to do? Yeah.
Silence is violence. Speech is violence.
You overcook the chicken. Jail.
Yeah, exactly.
Straight to jail.
Exactly.
You
it is.
undercook
straight
the
to jail.
chicken. Jail.
Believe it or not, jail. Yeah. Okay, but hold on. Let's break this down. Silence is violence.
Yes. Yes.
Speech
Tracking.
is violence.
So far, so good. Yep.
Violence, physical violence.
Not violence.
No, is violence. It is.
Oh, it is?
No, I'm sorry. Self-defense.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And violence against property, not violence at all.
Protest.
Protest.
Processing grief.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, hold on. Violence against the vulnerable of the wrong race,
Fine.
Restorative justice.
Ooh,
Right.
yeah.
So when they attacked, that's a joke I made on Twitter. When the rioters came and trashed a bodega owned by a minority couple in the Bronx.
Okay.
I'm like, well, you have to understand, these are property owners. This is restored. You think I'm joking?
Do you think they actually owned it, or were they renting the space to run
Oh
their
yeah, they're
store
probably
in?
renting it. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So they probably weren't
But-
even property owners.
Right.
So you have poor people in places like Ferguson. And when the rioters come from outside of Ferguson in Missouri and
Yep.
smash up the local businesses, the woke lefties in their ivory tower go, well, you don't understand. It's restorative justice. They're fighting back against their oppressors. I'm like, what are you talking about? They torched the local community.
Yeah.
There's no one oppressing. It's like it was a hair salon, dude. It was owned by the lady who lived 2
oppressive.
blocks away.
Right.
What are you
Next door
talking
neighbor.
about? Yeah, seriously. Well, I'll tell you what, man. Take a look. Look, this guy.
Oh, it's poor dude.
Here's the crazy thing. Check this out. NBC7 spoke to the man who originally posted the picture on Twitter. He has since deleted his account and said he may have gotten spun up about the interaction and misinterpreted it. He says he never intended for Cafferty to lose his job. How much you want to bet that dude's white?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, I
I'm
would
sorry.
bet a lot of money that
I
this
gotta-
is some white dude.
Yeah.
I'm going to go full SJW right now.
do it.
Oh man.
Have you seen that meme? Have you seen the meme?
Get him, Tim. Get him.
Yes.
Have you seen the meme where it's a woman being force-fed milk?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's the other meme where the guy's looking over his
Yep,
shoulder.
they're combined.
And it's
Oh, yeah.
all white people.
Yep.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
White
It's-
guilt.
it's-
The milk is white guilt.
The milk is white guilt,
Fittingly
right?
enough.
Yes. And then
Yeah.
it's white people pouring white guilt into white people's mouths while a white person looks at the guy shocked while the white person looks over his shoulder at the white guilt like it's good. And I got to say, man, it's funny how they rag on white people all day and they prove their own point. The most privileged, narcissistic egotists are literally them, and they happen to mostly be whites.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Guilty conscience, man.
maybe, you know, there was someone brought this up. Do you know what reset the clock is? The hashtag?
What is it?
It's a meme referencing when a male feminist turns out to be a rapist.
Oh man.
Because it happens so often. So
Like
whenever it happens,
clockwork.
like reset the clock, like days since, you know,
Oh, geez.
a male
3
feminist was
days
accused.
since.
Yeah, but I've heard your explanation of this, and it makes total sense.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I was going to bring up.
I
Yeah.
love
Go ahead.
this
Go
theory.
ahead. Yeah.
When, or just why feminists are feminists.
No. The male feminist turns into a rapist. It's because they're only being a male feminist
To get laid.
to get laid.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's not about being
But-
feminist.
The other point is that if you're a feminist
Mm-hmm.
and you're surrounded by these kind of dudes, and then you're going, all men are awful.
Yeah, no
It's
kidding.
like, well, yeah, you're
They
surrounded
sure
by male
are.
feminists, dude.
Right.
Like maybe go hang out with some regular
Got your
people
problem for you.
who are
Yeah.
like, I don't know, playing a game of cornhole in the backyard and having a piece
Grilling
of chicken or
stuff
something.
or whatever. Yeah.
But you choose to hang out with the pussy hat wearing weirdos who are constantly saying like, now that I'm your friend, you owe me sex.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh man, am I right? You're right. And that's what they're surrounded by.
Yeah.
So if you're one of these woke, white upper class people
Mm-hmm.
surrounded by a bunch of snooty elitist narcissists, and then you're like, man, it sure is funny how all these white people are snooty elitist narcissists.
Yeah,
And
that's
then they go on
your
a
circle.
crusade about it, not realizing it's them. It's you. It's you.
You're the
Stop.
problem.
Yeah. Yeah, you're the problem. And they don't get it. So anyway, I'll tell you what. There are days when I feel all hope is lost. When I look to the news, and what do I see? They banned books. They banned art. They banned art.
It's okay, Tim. I'm here for you.
But then I see a bunch of like slightly overweight South Philly dudes with baseball bats
Oh, yeah.
being like, you want to come in my neighborhood, smash up my statues? Get out of here, you crazy bum. And I'm like, wow, regular people are snapping off.
So like a young Bernie Sanders.
Young Bernie
Pretty
Sanders.
much. That's what I'm
Well,
getting here.
young Bernie Sanders probably sounded a bit more like this. Oh, I'm being arrested. Don't
Help,
arrest
help,
me.
I'm being
Healthcare for
repressed.
everybody. help, I'm being repressed. Yeah. I mean, look, respect for Bernie for protesting in civil rights. He got arrested for it. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool.
Sure.
I like the photo of him. He's
Went
a
to
good
the
dude.
USSR.
But now he's an old dude and he doesn't understand economics and he's got no spine either. You know what we need?
Spines?
We need spines.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Yeah.
need a shipment. Perhaps we can call for an import somewhere. Just a raw shipment of spines to hand out to people.
Not from China.
Not from China.
Yeah,
But maybe we-
Please.
they'd give us breakable spines.
They sure would.
Well,
That would
there's
not
an uptick in 3D printing. Maybe we can just
print it
print out some spines.
ourselves. Yeah. We got
no,
this.
we don't need spines, but we're pretty good.
I think we're good.
I'm
I
pretty
mean,
pretty
well, hold
confident.
on.
Yeah.
For you're not liberal.
No,
okay?
I'm not.
But for us, who have been always fairly liberal people,
Yeah.
of liberals, we probably have like the best spines.
Frankly.
Everyone agrees.
The best.
Yes.
We have the best. The best
The
spines.
Tim and Adam, best spines. Everybody agrees.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody.
Not likely
right.
to fall out.
China. just for no reason.
I've been fishing before, and I didn't lose my spine.
Spine did not fall out.
Dude,
Check.
I wonder what it is that makes a bunch of spineless people, and I don't care if you're a liberal, if you're conservative, if you're progressive, if you're far right, whatever. How do you end up with people who are just so pathetic and weak that they won't stand up for themselves? What's that saying? If you don't stand for anything, you'll fall. If you
You don't stand for something.
you'll fall for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that? Was that Public Enemy?
I
Or was
don't
that a
know.
famous quote?
That's basically
a-
what we've been saying about people not having purpose. It's the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't have a purpose to stand for.
So they just believe
Yeah.
whatever garbage is shoveled down their throat.
Right.
Right.
Man.
Yeah, it used to be even just being American. Like, that was what people could stand by. Like, man, well, I'm American. I'm, living the American dream.
Yeah.
That's gone.
Dude.
As far as this craziness that I'm seeing every day. But I don't believe that, for one. I don't believe it. I think people are going to realize, or certain people are going to realize that most Americans are like, no. We're proud of America. We're proud of where we live. We're proud of this land. And
Not
we are
Democrats.
living the American dream.
Right.
This is a weird
And that's
thing.
all races, too. I'm not, that's not, there's no, don't try to make it a racial thing. Because it's not. It's people living in
Dude.
America.
They are teaching kids to hate this country.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
The
true.
scary thing is,
That's
I
it.
was talking to a friend of mine about this, about what it means to live in this country and what this country accomplished compared to other countries, and I'm like, I think a lot of these woke white lefties don't understand what it really means that this country has civil rights, and there are a lot of European countries that also have civil rights, but as they start to bring back the racialization of law, I'm like, you realize there are very, very few countries that accept cohabitation. Like we had Loving Day recently. That's why I bring it up.
Right.
Loving Day is the anniversary of when the Supreme Court ruled interracial cohabitation and marriage was acceptable. And I mean literally, like, you couldn't have a roommate who was not your race.
It's so messed up.
Yeah, it's
That's
crazy, right?
dude.
Well, there are still many countries where it's still considered extremely taboo. Like most countries, actually.
Yeah.
And
Well,
here in-
most people probably don't even know that.
Yeah.
They don't.
We're not
that
aware.
that still exists.
Because
Yeah.
they live in an ivory tower.
Yep.
Seriously.
That's what America. What's that saying? Who said it? The gun rights thing? He said, "Just call the police." Is a tower so ivory that you'll go blind from looking at it?
I had not heard that. I have not heard that quote.
Yeah,
Let me look it up.
Look it up. Look it up.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's a really, really good quote. This dude basically calls out liberals who are like, if you're in danger, you don't need to defend yourself. Call the police. And he said, just call the police. It's a tower so ivory that it'll blind.
Yeah,
Did you
I see it.
find it?
No, hold on.
A tower so ivory or something. I'm
I've
sure
never
they're
heard that.
pulling it up.
I'm sure they'll find it before me. They usually do.
It's an awesome quote. But it reminds me of these people who grew up in the suburbs. They have, man, it's amazing. They go to these colleges and they're told by their professors, here's what you have to do to be a good person. And then I end up with these people coming to me and they're like, I'm from Naperville. My parents paid my college.
Yeah.
Let me teach you about what racism really is. And I'm like, let me stop you right there, buddy. I'm from the city
Yeah.
on the south side. Let me tell you about racism. And they say, you're a bigot.
How dare you?
You would
try
understand
to
because
tell
you
me.
have white privilege. I'm like,
Tell
Tell-
me
did you
about
find
that.
it?
Tell me
Did you
about
find
that.
it?
No, I can't find it anywhere.
Gene Wilder.
What was it from? Gene Wilder?
No.
No.
Oh,
Some
okay.
guns rights
That's
guy.
just one of my
Okay.
favorite memes
Did
because
somebody-
Gene Wilder's amazing.
I don't know if
and-
somebody found it yet.
For sure.
Tell me more. Tell me more about how.
Oh yeah,
about that
yes,
thing that you do?
Yes, I know that meme. I love
Gene
it.
Wilder is the boss.
I was like-
One of the great OG comedians
I need to
was
watch
in
his stuff
Blazing
again.
Saddles, which
my gosh,
I'm
we just got that.
I'm shocked it hasn't been SJW'd out to Oblivion.
I can't wait to see it.
Don't you dare do it.
Don't do it. Don't give them ideas, Adam.
Nah, man.
found it.
It's too late. Someone's gonna see it eventually.
Tim
It's-
has located it.
I believe it's from Caleb Howe.
Okay.
I just Googled it.
I've not heard this
Sure.
name.
He said banning weapons is the most white privilege idea ever. Rich liberals scoffing at the idea that a person might need to defend their own life is a tower so ivory you can't look at it in direct sunlight. It's the personal safety equivalent of just have the maid do it.
Oh, boom.
dang.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh,
A tower
snap.
so
I love it.
ivory you
Caleb
can't
Howe.
look directly at it.
Yeah, man.
I think that's his quote.
Wow.
But I bring that up. It's not a direct. It doesn't directly correlate with what I was saying, but it does in the sense that these rich white suburbanite progressives are the epitome of what they claim to be fighting against. Cause like how do you fight that when there's people like, could you imagine the vampire hunters show up to the town hall like, we're here to fight the vampires, and then they have fangs and they're covered in blood and you're like, it's literally you, and they go, shut up. vampire, and then they start stabbing you.
They kill you real quick.
Yep, that's what it is.
Yep.
It's like, it's them, dude. They're the zombies. They're not zombie hunters, man. How about this? How about we jump over to them super chats?
Let's do it.
Oh, super
Super
chat
chats.
time.
We got some stuff we have to do first.
What up, everybody?
What do we have to do?
We have
Smash
to,
that like button.
That's right.
That's
And then
like,
what
is that what
else?
you're saying?
Yell
Yes.
it right
Did
in
you
the
just
microphone.
alley-oop me?
Yes, that's what I was getting at.
I regret
You know-
nothing, Tim.
Maybe we should get
Nothing.
a button.
Yeah.
You know what we should do? We'll get a button that when you press it, a U pops up like this,
Yeah.
yelling smash the like button.
You know, that's actually
Oh, that's a
an
good
interesting
idea.
thing. Regret in general. I just want to say it. I just said it. I didn't regret yelling into the mic, but that's something that we need to do. We can't regret stuff. We got to learn from stuff.
That's right.
And that all these people saying, I'm sorry I did that. I regret doing that. I regret this.
Yeah.
It's like,
I regret nothing.
Regret
that's
nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I
regret
wanna do?
Hashtag regret nothing. Let's do that.
Yeah, man.
You know what I want to do? If I ever find myself in a situation like this, you know what I'm gonna do?
What?
I'm gonna make an apology video. It's gonna be called "I'm sorry." ... And then it's gonna be me wearing a really fine like white tuxedo,
Oh my.
and I'm gonna walk in with a cigar, and I'm gonna sit down, and I'm
Or
gonna go.
a bubble pipe, maybe?
No, I'm gonna get a legit cigar.
Oh,
And I'm
snap.
gonna
Snap.
chop it, and I'm gonna light it, and I'm gonna look at the camera and go, I apologize for nothing.
Yes. you gotta call Crowder and have him send you one of his special
Cigars.
blends.
I want this
I
to
regret
happen
nothing.
Every time I see him, he's got a cigar in his mouth. So
now. I love it.
Man, think about how spineless people are. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Could you
man.
imagine George Carlin being told to apologize for something? He would be epic.
he would laugh in your face.
Yeah, he
Sure would.
He'd tell you.
Carlin was a boss.
and he was a lefty,
Yeah,
but he would rag
was.
on feminist PC culture and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a total boss. Talk
That's
about
funny.
inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah. Earlier today, I was thinking, man, I don't regret anything. Like what?
Regret nothing.
Yeah.
Learn.
That's right.
Learn. This is the first time I've used this.
Yes.
Learn.
The clapping,
Clapping
part.
thing.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
the emojis.
I don't really
Don't
like
regret anything. Like, do people really do that in real life?
Sometimes I do.
I've seen it. She did it, and that's why I just
did,
started
yeah.
doing it. You
Don't
did it
glare
earlier.
at me. Don't give me that look. I love it.
How about we read some? super
Oh,
chats?
yeah. Sorry.
All
I
right.
had to say that, though. That was good.
Cole Erdman says, "Hey guys, I just want to say thanks for giving me hope. Everyone around me has lost it, but y'all keep me going. Please keep up the good work and good journalism and spin the UFO."
Yes.
I'm gonna spin it.
I'll
Oh
tell you
man,
what,
I've been prepping for this.
That was the second thing we
It,
needed
it
to
does
do.
worry me when I hear a lot of people saying things like this, though, man. What if we are really la resistance, the last free minds in this
It's
country,
us.
like us,
It
like
is
us
us.
three.
and everybody watching?
People like
I mean,
us,
like
yeah.
the show.
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah, maybe.
what if there's quite literally only 26,000 people who aren't zombies?
Oh man, we're
That-
so cool.
I believe it.
Yeah.
You
We
read
got-
I
we
Am
got a-
Legend, right?
We got
Oh,
a good
yeah.
crew here.
Uh-huh.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
And do you want to tell people what it's about, real quick? Synopsis.
Oh, okay. I can try to do a quick synopsis. So it's this guy. He's the last one, and he's trying
The
to.
last what?
He's the last human. Everyone
Why?
else is a zombie.
Ah.
There's been a virus or some kind of infection. He thinks it's bacterial, and he's been studying it. He's trying to find a way to cure it because his wife and his daughter were both victims of it.
Who are you talking
So-
to right now?
I don't know, myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm always talking to myself. Am I not looking in the right place? I'm not on camera all that much.
Go ahead.
But yeah, he's trying to find a cure for this zombie illness. So he has like his microscope and he has his books and he's reading about bacteria and everything. And this lady comes through and it turns out that she's actually a spy.
Well,
So-
I just want to give you the ending. Why is it called I Am Legend?
Because it turns out that he was the one who had killed everyone around him. Like all of the zombies were terrified of him because he'd killed so many of them. He just put them down like animals constantly.
So the general idea is, when the whole world becomes zombies, and you are the last not zombie, and you go around killing them, you are the boogeyman. You're the
Yeah.
mysterious creature who, so it's vampires. You're the mysterious creature walking while they sleep and slaughtering them in their sleep. They tell scary stories about you.
Ooh.
The reason I tell you this is that there will come a time when the whole world will be woke SJWs, and you will be the legend.
Yep.
You will be the last person saying, I believe in freedom of speech. And they're going to be like, lock him up,
Yeah.
heretic.
Yes.
And then
They'll
you'll
put
be
you in
like,
jail. They'll shoot you in the chest.
you will keep fighting. You will demand free speech, free expression, liberty. And then eventually they'll be like, you are the bad guy. You're the only one who thinks what you think, and you must be stopped. And there's no one there to support you. And maybe that's what'll happen. That's scary. Anonymous Coward says, hi, Tim. What's up with SCNR? Their last two videos did not seem objective at all. Is this a new direction for the outlet? I would say the answer to that is no. It's not always going to be perfect content, and I can't speak to one where what they did was for Scanner they tried contrasting what Eric Garcetti in LA was saying with what was actually going on the ground, and I talked to them about this. They're totally editorially independent from me, so. But if they start doing overtly biased opinion stuff, that's when I'm going to be like, yo, guys. But in this one, they thought it was actually going to be clever to say, like, Eric Garcetti's full of it. Everything he's saying is BS. The police are out fighting with protesters and stuff. And I think it was an artistic vision that didn't work out, in my opinion. So a lot of people are like, why are we listening to Eric Garcetti? And I'm like, I see what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
I don't think that makes sense. That functions properly.
I agree.
The latest video they did was this guy. It's called Nimrod Reports. And I think it was edited really, really bad, and that's the main problem. It was edited in a way that gave choppy responses to there was a bunch of like pro-British nationalists, or just, I don't know what you'd call them, but they were people who were very pro-Winston Churchill, easiest way to put it. I don't want to label them because I don't know much about what happened. But the way the interview was done, it was like he asked a question and then you'd get a snippet of an answer and then it would cut right away. And I think that's a really retro, old school way of doing interviews. In today's day and age, you put the microphone in them, you let them say whatever they want, and you let it roll for as long as it needs to roll, and then you do the next clip. So, we'll make sure. I'll talk to them, make sure we figure out how to do better production quality stuff. But I'll be honest, they're editorially independent. I can't intervene and tell them not to do a story. I can if they're putting out opinion content, which it seems they may have accidentally veered into, and that's when I'll step in and be like, yo, no opinion. Grim Soul Banisher says, at work, wishing I was playing Persona 5. Glad my dull desk work is made tolerable by some intelligent conversation from you three. Soon, the UFO, please. Oh, I'm sorry, he didn't say spin. He said soon. No, we can't do it.
I don't know how to soon the UFO.
Michael J.O. says, I moved out of a big city into burbs. Feel safer. I agree. I understand and agree with that sentiment, yeah. Ijit says, Webster is not changing the definition of the word racism. Is not changing it. I'd like to take this moment to endorse the original 1824 Noah Webster's Dictionary of the English Language. The definitions are way better, especially for writers. They are not, you're saying? They are now changing. That's what I thought, because they literally did change it.
I was like, wait, no, they did.
Here's the correction. Webster's is now changing the definition of racism, and it's a paradox. It makes no sense.
Racism means racism.
Yeah. Ooh, how about that?
Racism is a political system founded on a political system founded on a political system founded, because you can't use the definition of the word. Let's see. FTW says, salute to the Beanie Mafia and our queen, Miss Lydia.
Thank you.
My harumph shirt arrived today, and I am now ready to hit the streets and cause the mischief a street skater should in these crazy times.
Correct.
Yes. I also want to point out in all these videos where someone's hitting someone with a skateboard, they never skated a day in their lives.
For sure.
Yeah. Nah.
Probably.
Skateboarder's not going to risk his board like that.
Well.
King Canuck says, you just lost the game. You're an incredible journalist, Tim. Mad respect to you all, and I heart when you two get into it. I know there's no beef, just respect. Tim, mind your ego. Adam, stand up for your disagreements. More, it's fun.
No.
I am. We actually, before the show, we have a script, and we're like, we're trying to escalate to the point where I pull up the chair, and I'm like, and I swing, and then Adam ducks, and then punches.
Jones.
Yeah.
And I just catch it with one hand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I look shocked. And then I swing.
And I catch his hand.
And then I rip my shirt off. Oh! And then it just cuts the blade.
And then I just laugh.
Did you see that? Ever see that clip of Alex Jones where he blasts off through the roof?
No. That sounds amazing.
But in all seriousness, though, a lot of people, I tweet a lot of jokes. I'm joking constantly about our feuds because people seem to have made it a thing. And we've known each other for a long time. I've been friends with this guy quite some time, and we're friends. So anything
we agree on 99.9% of everything.
Yeah. So the few things that you see when we do disagree or whatever, it is we walk away from here.
It's not even that. After the show,
we're smiling. We're like, man, what a great interaction.
Seriously.
But we got into it a day or two ago, and after the show, I was like, wow, that was a really great argument, man. And he's like, yeah, it was good. And then the segment did really well.
Yeah,
like, oh, it's really cool when we
argue.
actually. Well, because it's you can see there's different ideas, and that's the point of a legitimate, intelligent conversation.
Right.
It's like, why do you think the way you do? Well, here's what I think, and then
that's
it is kind of boring. We agree on everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
everybody does though. Even everyone watching, we're all we mostly agree on all this stuff.
You could have fooled me though.
What, agreeing on everything? No, I mean,
No.
a few things.
Exactly.
well, now we disagree.
How
dare you?
You respond with that with a no. I loved it. That was wonderful.
Perfect.
Very,
Yep.
Perfect timing.
On point.
North Hatsuma says, got any books you would recommend? Also, thanks for doing what you're doing. It's hard to search through a sea of misinformation to find actual news. Thanks for being a guide. No problemo. Any
For
books,
sure.
anybody?
Wow.
Harry Potter.
Ooh, Harry Potter. Indeed.
Because now J.K. Rowling is based, I guess.
I guess.
I don't know.
Actually, yeah, she wrote under a pseudonym. She wrote under oh crap, what did she write under? She wrote books about a veteran who had a leg amputated, and she wrote from the perspective of a military man, of a white military man who was, disabled from his service. And she was talking about his name is Cormoran Strike, and I loved her books because she's talking about being trans-abled, and she was like, this is not okay. Like the hero is like not on board with that.
Yeah.
So I really liked those books. There you go. There's a recommendation. Cormoran Strike books from J.K. Rowling. Get 'em.
The first book series that I fell in love with was the Dragonlance Chronicles. It's a 3-book series. It is like the entrance into a wonderful world of sci-fi. Awesome. It's an incredible journey with a group of people that are all drastically different and don't even always get along. It's cool. It's a really good book series. So one of my my online moniker Riverwind is from that series actually. So all my gaming, I'm Riverwind in my games. So
Word.
Very cool.
yeah.
Josh says, hey, Tim and company, you are in my head a lot of the time these days. Thanks for providing a voice on current events. Can we see some noodling on the guitars? Friday.
Friday. Yes.
Definitely.
Friday night jams.
Noodling.
Woo.
Yep.
North, thanks for coming a member. Seth Blackburn, thanks for coming a member. Thomas Mulligan says, hey, all love the work that you guys do. Tim, would you ever do a breaking news segment, or is your schedule set in stone? And of course, spin the UFO. Most of my segments are just whatever I think is the most relevant for the time, but I always try to make sure that my segments are as close to publishing as possible, and that can backfire a lot. So today, I actually recorded a segment on the NBC News thing, and I did it very, very close to when I upload the videos, and then shortly before I uploaded it, it's all rendered and I record and everything and I press upload, and then they're like, Google pops this thing up where they're like, we're changing our story. And I'm like, ugh. That's the challenge of doing segments at the last minute. Or actually that's the benefit of doing them close as possible to the publishing time, but then I have to put in the thing. So, I mean, typically I try to do breaking news. I used to do live streams when like a news story would break, but now we just decided to do this show. And so if news breaks, we just do another show.
Yeah, I guess so.
Podcasted says, just a thank you for the regular sanity check. I think without these, the media would have driven me insane. Spin the UFO.
Man,
Do it again.
I'm spinning it.
We're going to send that thing off.
Yeah.
You better smash that like button.
That's right. That's the trade.
You better be smashing that like button, everybody.
That's the deal.
Smash it.
Student of, I got to be honest. I think the reason why the show is growing so much is because of the constant smashing of the like button. I'm not
I
even
think
kidding.
so too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when the giving the like
You're
button
welcome. You're welcome,
boosts us in the algorithm. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. We trade UFO spins for likes.
Yeah.
That's the currency.
Student of history says, so we honestly living 1984 Ministry of Truth and all? Yes.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Let's see. Ground Floor Guthrie says, BLM fundraisers. There is at least one fundraising site that is powered by Go Blue, which is a Democratic PAC. If I can find the links, I will post. Sorry if this is repeated. Do you mean Act Blue?
Yeah.
A lot of people think that it's secretly funneling money to Biden because Act Blue is like GoFundMe, but it's just not true. It would be like if somebody got a donation through GoFundMe and then I argued that the donation sent to me actually went to them.
Well, what about this thing, the Minnesota like bail
Oh, the bail relief
thing,
fund.
relief fund?
They got
Claiming-
$35 million.
They got 35 mil, and they're like, we've spent over 200,000 on bails. It's like,
Where'd the rest go?
what about the rest?
Is that it?
They don't need to bail anybody out.
That's all they had to
That's
do.
it.
Yeah.
So where does that money go?
They'd probably sit on it and then figure out what to do with it in the future.
Hmm.
This is the weirdest thing to me. Like all these celebrities that donated to the bail fund,
Yeah.
it's the Minnesota Freedom Fund.
Mm-hmm.
Like they chose to do it.
That's true.
Like they realize bail for the several hundred people who got arrested can't be that much money.
Right.
So it's conservatives I see are popping up being like, what did you do with the money? And I'm like, the people who gave the money don't care. They're like, I donated, I'm happy, and they walk away. So the Freedom Fund, they don't care either. You know what I mean?
I've glorified my virtue. So
That's right.
Exactly.
That's all I have to do.
I'm done.
I donated. That's that.
Ooh, Texas, what's this? Paul Marino says, I saw, quote, turn Texas blue trending on Twitter a week or so ago.
Oh boy.
Do you think it's possible? I'm moving there in a couple months and leaving blue in New Jersey, not trying to go to another blue state.
Right.
I do think it's possible, and that's why I won't go near Texas.
Well, if you have an issue with it, maybe we need more people in politics, more people
Well, no,
getting involved.
This is a media and culture issue.
Sure.
These are the regular people of Texas deciding to vote for Democrats.
Okay.
They're winning.
Yeah.
Well, they don't call everyone the silent majority for nothing.
Is
The
there
people that-
really a silent majority?
Ooh.
Yeah, I think
I
I think
don't
there is.
I think so. I think if you were to combine most people who don't vote and don't pay attention, and everyone's desperate to activate those groups, I wonder if the riots activated everyone in favor of the right. Because something happened after the riots where my views, like on everything, the viewership for this show, the viewership for my channels is
Yeah.
up like 40, 50%. It's ridiculous. Like I actually think on my second channel, my views have doubled.
Wow.
And it is kind of worrying. Like look, I'm not, I don't really care like how many views I get. I do what I do because I like talking about stuff. But I think
Yes, you do. A little bit. Come on.
I mean, everybody's happy when they're successful.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? But for the most part, when I first started, I was getting 10,000 views.
Yeah.
Like I didn't just go, oh, I'm not getting enough and stop. No, I was like, I like doing what I do. But I think what we're seeing is people got activated by the riots in both directions.
That's true.
So a lot of people probably woke up like, why is my town on fire? What's happening? They go on YouTube and they start watching and listening to podcasts and trying to figure out what's happening in the world. That's maybe a good thing. Maybe.
We're here
Maybe
for
they'll
you,
vote.
Everyone.
Yep.
Maybe they will go vote.
I hope so.
Oh, I
But I'll
hope
tell you
so.
what, man, I'm not confident in Trump. Not at all.
Okay.
I'm not. So it's like, I'm talking to some OG Trump people telling me they won't vote for him now. I'm not even kidding. Like Mike Cernovich keeps saying that he thinks Trump will lose. I wonder if he's saying it because he wants people to feel vulnerable so they desperately go out to vote
That
and
could
don't
be
get
it.
desperate. But I don't know. I don't think Mike plays those games like that.
I don't know.
So I once did an interview with Mike Cernovich where he went to Berkeley and he straight up, I was like, so what are you doing here in Berkeley? And he goes, oh, we came here because Antifa we know that they'll act a fool and then look really bad and then we can use that to make ourselves look better. And I was like, wait, what?
That was a
He
quiet
just-
part you just said out loud. Wow,
and he
dude.
was like, yeah, Antifa acts a fool and then we can use that against them and point out how crazy
Maybe
they are.
that's the kind of thing he's thinking now. I don't know.
No, but he just admits it. He would say it straight up.
Would he?
Yes. That's
He
right.
might. He might be thinking that way and then acting accordingly. I don't know.
No, like I literally interviewed him and he just told me exactly what we're doing. He's like, it's not a secret. Everybody knows we're here to specifically do this thing because Antifa will go nuts. And it's like, okay. So if he really thought if he thought this would help Trump, he would say straight up, I'm going to keep telling everybody he's going to lose that they get out and vote or something. But
Yeah.
I think he means it because you look at Ann Coulter and she hates Trump.
Yeah, she's not a fan anymore.
Yeah.
Too bad.
But we'll see because I mean these riots are a serious business. Will
Yes.
regular people stand for them? Are they confident Trump can be the one to solve that problem? I'm not entirely
Is
convinced.
he going to?
Yeah.
Well, I
Still
mean,
waiting.
but see that right there is not the correct way of putting it because they've been saying you're not allowed to touch us. We're the states. We control what goes on in our states. And now it's on him to fix everything, though. See that I don't understand.
To do something. Say something. So
He's been. What do you mean? He's been saying.
He's been
something.
talking.
He's been telling them you got to get your states in order. Like,
Look-
what are you doing? And they're going like this to him. You know,
Yeah, right.
Like, back off. We like these. What's going on here? It's like.
So you
why?
have-
Why do you like this?
the executive order on Section 230 did nothing.
What? Okay.
The executive order on police reform is interesting,
Okay.
but will do nothing. Yeah, I mean, offering up. So the executive order he signed today will offer up new grants for police departments if they adhere to certain principles and guidelines. I can respect he's doing some things.
Okay.
The economy was really, really great under him for a long time, and that's what he has going for him. And maybe he can't do anything, but a lot of people don't know that, and that's going to play a role in how they, consider their vote. I guess the question is, Biden? I don't think so, man.
Yeah.
No, man.
I wonder if
feeling
this
it.
No way I'll vote for Biden.
No.
And I think the data shows us riots lead to law and order presidents. So Trump came out with the executive order on police reform and was very defensive of the police. The left got mad at him about it. They said he was creating loopholes and it was a cop-out and it was a full-throated defense of the police. But he still offered up some reform ideas, no chokeholds, things like that. Maybe that'll play out. Maybe there's no winning for him because no matter what he does, the press will vilify him for every single thing he does.
Yep.
But when there's questions about Julian Assange, there's questions about federal drug enforcement. Julian Assange was big for a lot of people
Okay.
because Trump throughout the campaign was saying he loved WikiLeaks. Now Julian Assange is rotting in a British prison and he shouldn't. He should have been released already, but now they're extraditing him. And Trump's administration is full on, we don't care. And so this made a lot of people angry. It felt like Trump during the campaign was like, yeah, everything good for me from WikiLeaks. And then as soon as he became president, he was like, don't care anymore. Bye.
Yeah, it would have
Walked
been
away.
so easy for him to do that.
But I don't know what he could do for Assange, to be honest. So,
Yeah.
But I know that played a role for some people that were like, Trump supporters.
Mm-hmm.
Simius the First says, I was talking to my Russian friend whose father is in the Russian Air Force. He said there is talking amongst the officer corps that they need to be ready for if the crisis continues in the U.S., they need to take advantage and annex unaligned former Soviet countries.
Oh.
I believe it. I definitely think they would do something like that for sure. Jim Pina, if the local leadership isn't spineless and it's not suffering from white guilt, what remains? Yeah, well, they don't have spines anymore, so. Steel Scholar says, Crowder gives you that beautiful rifle and you just throw him under the bus like that? Not very cash money of you, Mr. Poole.
Whoa. For the record, that was
It
me.
was totally Adam. We were just joking.
And Crowder, I was joking. No,
he
man,
can
I
handle
love
it.
that guy. He's funny.
If anyone can take
Yeah.
a joke.
He's a funny dude. I am a little singed that I didn't get a gun, but I'm no Tim Pool, so
I mean,
You didn't get a gun.
I'll just go get my own gun.
We'll just let Crowder, make sure you send two. We need more than one here at the house.
No,
Two.
I Lydia would snatch that up in no
That's true.
time.
I gotta say, man, I'm gonna get an arsenal, baby.
yes.
Be like, this is
Be like Post Malone,
listen.
baby.
I have a friend who is arguing with me all the time about Black Lives Matter,
Okay.
defending the left, making excuses for everything they do. Went out and bought a gun.
Ooh.
Not kidding.
Wow, interesting.
And I'm like, aren't you like, marching for 2A, March for Our Lives and all that stuff? And it's like, well, but I mean,
This
you
is
know.
me.
No. I mean, like the world's ending, so
Yeah.
things are different
Things
now.
are different. Yeah. It's personal.
Dude. I wonder how many of these people are going to vote for gun control now.
Oh, man.
But to be honest, they will. You know why? The gun control legislation will be like, only people in cities can have guns. And then they'll vote for it.
Oh, man.
No. Oh.
You'd
see really fast how big the silent majority is if they try to pull something like that.
That's what people don't realize about gun rights and stuff like that, is that these fervent gun control activists who are marching around in D.C. are the minority. Bernie Sanders, one of the reasons I respected him in 2016 was because he said it's an urban versus rural issue.
Smartest thing he's
Absolutely.
ever said.
And that even in Vermont, people want their guns.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's very blue and hippie-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I watched a video, I think it was from somewhere in the middle of the country, where it was a Union Democrat talking about how he's like, my family, we have guns, we go hunting, we do these things, and we've always voted for Democrats, and I don't understand why they're coming after us now, why they're turning on us.
Yeah.
It's like, because they needed a wedge issue. And this was a shocking wedge issue. They wanted to use it. You see the video where the guy confronts Joe Biden about it?
Oh, yeah.
And Joe Biden just insults him?
Yeah. He straight up said, "You want to take this outside?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
did.
He wanted to duel
Bring
him.
the dueling back. Yes.
Could you
That's
imagine?
how old Biden
Grandpa
is.
dementia. Yes.
He thought that
Bringing
dueling
it
was
back.
still a
I
thing.
remember back in 1804, the thing where we'll rape ears and,
Go outside.
What he said and, but I can't. So, president.
No, he said, "Well, you're full of S."
Yeah.
That was the first thing he said.
Oh,
It was
man.
like, "What? You
This is a
led
good
with
look.
that?" Oh my
Dude.
goodness.
Bold strategy.
Yeah.
This is why I can't imagine Biden winning no matter what. It's like you got a guy who keeps telling people not to vote for him.
That's true.
He keeps doing it. He's done it, 4 or 5
Yeah,
times?
he has.
He's like, go vote for
Multiple
somebody else.
times.
It's like, okay.
All right,
Man,
then.
but when he said we need a strong VP, one that can be ready to be president day one. When he
Yeah.
said that,
Hillary.
I couldn't believe my ears. I had to listen to it again. I was like, did I just hear that?
Did you hear him say he was
What?
going to be a one-term president?
No.
I heard
And then
that.
they had to walk it back.
Yeah.
They made him walk it back.
Well, he
Oh,
walked it back.
Oh, he walked it back?
Yeah, he said something like something. What was that story? What exactly did he say?
He said, "I'm paving the way for other people like Pete Buttigieg."
No, he said something like something came up with a story where it was basically like he's just trying to stop a Trump re-election,
Okay.
and he could be a one-term president, and then he had to come out and be like, no, I'm gonna run for re-election. And it's like, no, you're not.
When
How
you're
old is he?
82?
No, he's 80 now, isn't he?
No, he's 77.
Oh, he
I'm
is.
pretty sure
Oh,
he's
he
77.
seems so
Is he
old.
77?
Let me check.
Oh, man, I don't know.
I think you're right.
78?
No, he's older than
I
that,
thought
right?
he was
78?
He is
77.
77 years
Oh,
old.
okay.
Right, so it'll
Yep.
be 81.
Oh, gosh. Oh,
He's already got dementia
He's
now.
already in decline.
And I mean that somewhat figuratively. I don't know if he literally has
No,
dementia.
I think he does.
You know what? I kind of wish that guy would have been like, yes, let's take this outside. Because he was young.
Let's go.
Dude,
He's a blue-collar dude.
man, like that dude probably
I
lifts
gotta-
steel.
I gotta admit, part of
Oh
me
my
wants to see a
gosh.
Joe Biden presidency. You know why?
Oh, chaos.
Could you imagine him just like sitting in the wheelchair with a blanket over his lap and doing like a national address, and he's just like hunched over, and he's like, they just turn the camera on.
I don't want to picture it.
Mr. President,
We'd be at war so
Biden,
fast.
Obama, and then they're like,
Oh, Biden, Obama.
thank you, Mr. President, and then the camera just fades to black.
Go back to
They
sleep,
could
sir.
they could do campsite chats with Joe Biden where it's just him sitting in a wheelchair, slumped over, sleeping next to a fireplace. It'd be kind of nice, you know.
That'd be soothing.
It's like you're watching the video, you're like, that's kind of nice. He's just sitting there, he's not doing anything. you
At
know?
least he's sleeping peacefully.
That's right.
No, I still believe as soon as he gets elected, they're gonna wheel him into the room and put him in the sunlight with being a wheelchair slumped over in the sunlight, and then Hillary walks in, and sits in the open.
No. She doesn't walk in. She slithers out of the shadows.
slithers in.
The shadows mold into her form. And
There's
she
like
lets
a shimmer effect from the shadows, and her face just appears out of the
gosh.
darkness.
Thanks for this nightmare material, guys. Wonderful.
and then as she's walking out of the room, there's a Secret Service man, and she goes, "End it." And as she says it, black smoke comes out of her mouth.
Oh my
Do
gosh.
it.
Thank
Do
you.
it.
We've given 25,000 people nightmares. Good work, everyone.
She's like a boogeyman now.
Oh my gosh.
Now,
When I have kids,
what?
I'm not going to tell them about the boogeyman. I'm going to tell them about the Hillary.
They don't call her Killary for nothing.
Hillary.
Right.
And if you dare oppose her political agenda and
And don't
speak
go to
up
sleep.
against her foundation, she will poison your food and your sleep. That. Poison your food and your sleep.
Yes, that.
Because it has to be in your sleep, otherwise it's not scary, you know?
Right, yeah.
Freak out my kids with scary stories. And
about
then you know what's going to
Hillary?
happen? When they're like 7, I'm going to be like, did you clean your room? I'll do it. If you don't do it, Hillary will come. No.
Not Hillary.
Not Hillary.
This is going to be fun. I like
All
that
right.
idea.
Let's read it. Let's read a super chat. Gabriel McLeod says, I've been a Magic player for 23 years. If we allow the SJW knee bending of Wizards of the Coast Hasbro to ruin the game for us, we let them win. The way we fight back is to continue playing the game in the spirit it was created, no matter what they do. Which is why I bought several of these forbidden art cards.
That's not why you bought them. You bought them because they're just going to skyrocket
No,
in
their
price.
prices are crashing.
They're crashing.
Yeah.
'Cause-
There was an initial burst, and now
Uh-huh.
the value is going down.
Huh, why?
Because
they're not very good cards.
Yeah,
so
they're
never really
banned
used.
now.
They're not good. You can't use them in
Yeah,
tournaments.
give them some time.
So here's how it works in Magic. The usefulness of the card determines the value of it for the most part.
Correct.
So when you play in a certain format, you're like, I need this one card, and it's rare because they don't make them. They made it 20 years ago.
Right.
So it'll cost you several $1,000s. These
That's several $1,000s. There's not that many cards that are of that
Gauntlet of
caliber
Might.
that are still used.
all the alpha and beta stuff.
Yeah, but Gauntlet of Might, you don't need to get the alpha or beta version of it.
Yeah.
You know,
But if you want to get a $100,000 Black Lotus, use it in your, what was that, vintage deck, Legacy.
silly.
Anyway, look, this card is autographed by the artist. They consider
Ooh.
it to be racist.
Oh.
I think it's ridiculous. It's just a person wearing a steel mask or whatever. But the card's terrible. Like it's not.
Yeah,
it's
Doesn't
not-
do anything.
Not good at all. It's actually a really bad card, to be
Yeah,
honest.
it's not good.
So it has no usefulness. So the value of the card is nothing. But when they banned it, everybody rushed to buy it, causing a massive spike. Now it's back to being useless again. And not only is it useless, but it was banned. So they really don't have. They may become collectibles in the future. No, I got them in defiance. I got them in complete defiance. And then I started looking up Magic the Gathering decks that are overt, that use all of the perceivably racist cards.
Do you find them? Are they out there?
There's lists, yeah.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure.
And there's like one where it's like the whole deck is white,
Yeah.
and everything is just like makes white better, and like
Oh, what is that card that I found? It's
the one with the slaves.
you create
Oh my god.
3 1 1
01.
Oh, excuse me. 01.
Not
No,
even that good.
no power. 01 black surf tokens. Creatures. Surf,
Now,
surf
now,
creatures.
now hold on, just to clarify, this is black magic, not
It-
racial.
it is a black creature
right, but
that
so-
creates black, and then when the main creature dies, all the serfs die with them. It's
that's
pretty
like
bad.
Ooh.
that's way more racist than any of these cards they banned.
I know.
To be completely honest.
I know it is. I
It's-
saw it and
it's-
I couldn't even believe it. You
And
know
not-
what? I'll post a picture of it after the
Yeah,
show.
we gotta find that.
I
Did you-
have it in the other room.
Here's the other thing too. It's like
It's insane.
have you haven't seen the Harry Potter movies,
No, I haven't.
but you have.
I have.
Have you ever wondered about the bankers at
I
Gringotts?
am aware of the correlation between the bankers and some slight biases against certain racial groups.
Yep. So the bankers in Harry Potter are short, hook-nosed goblins.
Oh no.
That deal
you're
with money
going. I
all
know
day
you're going
long.
with this.
No, it's not
Yeah.
where I went. It's where people have been bringing this up. Like
the card
whoa.
that you found.
Oh,
See, after
yeah.
this all happened, we have a
Yeah.
lot of cards together, me and Tim. So we were looking through our cards like, oh man, total racist, and then we were kind of joking because it's for 5 colors. So there's a black color and a white color. So it's easy to go, oh, this is a racist card. But then we started
Wait
finding.
a second.
Well,
Wizards of the Coast declared these rules. They're the
Yep.
ones who said this is racism now.
I
So
put it simply.
it's their fault.
I said, I bet I can take any one of my decks and find a racist card.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I pulled up one deck, I went through it, and there's a card it's a new one. It's called Dockside Extortionist.
Oh.
And it's a hook-nosed little goblin holding a sack of money, laughing.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude.
What on earth?
Okay. I'm curious as to what their view is of creating the goblin stereotype and like how they make the art for a lot of these cards.
I don't know.
The game it's not racist. But if you want to play the game of like, well, I don't know, this looks like the person is in prison, but it's also a brown person. It's like, oh, is that the game you want to play?
Oh, we can actually play that game.
Everything in the game will not be racist.
Eventually, everything in life will be racist.
That's true too.
Yep.
to
And
be
we
fair.
won't be able to speak anymore.
It'll be real boring. No
Sounds-
jokes.
Sounds like a fun life.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yep. Well, you reap what you sow. People won't stand up. Daniel Kerr says, Adam, just move back here to Arizona. Decent gun rights. Well, we're working. We got some in 1 month.
We got some plans.
In 1 month.
Oh my gosh!
I
I'm
believe
so
We're not
excited.
gonna say much. Oh, go ahead. What were you gonna say? 1 month? What?
In 1 month, we'll be done with the iteration. We'll be ready to launch the next iteration of.
Yes. Oh
1
yes.
month.
I am
I
thrilled.
can't say anything more. I actually didn't say anything. So
None of us said
technically, I'm
anything.
just saying nothing.
We're excited. We're doing stuff.
Paxton
In
Fairbanks.
1 month.
Paxton Fairbanks says, Tim, I want to thank you for showing me how to achieve my dreams. Your story about what you did to become a journalist that others wouldn't helped show the way forward for me. I am flying down to Austin in a week. Fresh start. Cool. Glad to hear it, man.
Oh,
Nice.
cool. Very
Work
neat.
hard and
Good job.
do your best.
Good luck, dude.
That's how it's done.
Cloud 9v20 says, people who commit the most crime in the country by race, which is the unfortunate lens that we are required now to look through, want to keep committing crime and not get caught or punished. This is the problem I have with a lot of these lefty social justice people. When they try to bring up the disproportionate policing numbers,
Right.
I'm like, bro, this is the horseshoe touching.
Oh wait, you want to talk statistics?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we can
Let's
talk.
do that.
No. You don't. Oh, you don't want to?
Oh,
no.
no.
Oh,
Oh.
only specific statistics.
Exactly.
Ah. Oh, okay.
The
I'm
left-
done. I'm done.
The left
Yeah.
only talks about the policing,
Right.
and then the right,
Far right.
the frame. I hate far right because it doesn't really make sense. But the inversion of their politics entertains why there's disproportionate policing.
Right.
And I was talking to my friend who was like, but you know that the police disproportionately target minorities. And I said, and that's the exact same argument used by white supremacists who say, I completely agree with you because they're committing the crime.
Right.
And I'm like, and it totally disregards that class is the real issue.
Culture,
Police
yeah.
disproportionately target poor people because poverty breeds crime.
Not
and
culture. Class.
No, not culture.
Class.
Class.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's anything to do with culture.
Somewhat.
No, culture.
Somewhat.
Culture is not the same. Because
I know they're not the same.
Culture
No.
does play a role, though.
yeah, but not. I don't know. I don't think I agree with that. I think it's a class issue. Totally.
There have been a lot of instances where people were shot by cops because their pants were falling down.
Okay.
And they reach to their waist to pull their pants up, and the cop thinks they're pulling the gun out and shoots them.
Okay.
Then there are people who have, jeans pulled up to their elbows, to their armpits with tucked in shirts, and the cops can clearly see they're not armed. So culture does play an issue in whether the cops are going to freak out.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's minor.
Great example.
It is. But there was specifically one story where like a cop came out of a store and he saw a guy that he was looking for, and he says, put your hands up. And the dude had baggy pants falling down, and he reaches down, and so the cop went, no, and shot him.
Okay.
Jeez,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, there was also that dude, the
So
white.
again with the pants down thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a specific example.
Right.
Yeah, so there's cultural issues that can contribute, but it is extremely minute relative to the class issue of things.
Yeah.
Because, and this is what I keep saying, like, you can look at actual systemic racism. It's a real thing.
Okay.
And there's actual institutional racism, and we can have long conversations about this. But it's not what the left describes it as. They make it seem like there's evil, white men going, now I'll create an institution that is racist. Yeah. When in reality, it's like remnants of yore. And then what happens is, instead of trying to solve the problem, which is class-based, they try to create racialized law, which makes everything worse.
Yeah.
Everything gets worse when they do that.
That's basically what's happening right now.
Yeah, and they shouldn't do it, but you know what? They do, because whatever. Caleb Field says, have you seen Crowder's epic apology video after the apocalypse? Yes, I did. It was amazing.
The perfect apology video.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Should I-
It was
should I go
like-
see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go
Yeah,
watch it.
I'll
What,
watch
what
it.
was he basically doing? Like, apologizing, but saying the joke?
Yes,
Like,
he would repeat the joke, and he's like, "I'm very sorry that we did this, and
Yep.
that we did this, and that
Yep.
we did this." And he just raked him over it again and again.
Dude.
It was great. It was fantastic.
I'm glad he's
Classic.
someone who doesn't, just bend the knee.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
Crowder's,
that.
they
Crowder's
exist.
funny.
Slightly disagreeable.
All right, let's see what we got here. Some of the Sam Nguyen, how do you pronounce that? Nguyen? Nguyen?
I don't know.
Says thank you, appreciate it. Bomber the Dwarf says at least 20 dead in India versus China border clash. So things are getting a little spicy over in India.
Yeah,
because-
we'll have more information. I wanted to talk about this.
But I
a
think-
lot of people are asking me on my tweet.
Man, this
a lot of
foreign
people
stuff.
are asking us to talk about this clash. So
We had the initial story pulled up, but we definitely need a day to like read all about,
Do a deep dive.
not necessarily a deep dive, but I think instead of just like looking at a news article and being like, wow, hey, let's read that, we need to actually have more context. So like when we talk about, Gundy or Google all this stuff, or what's going on in New Mexico, we have so much cultural context around all of these issues that we know we can tap into, that I can't tell you anything about India's borders. I don't know, Pakistan or something.
Yeah,
I don't know enough about it.
I know a lot about it, but that's okay.
we can do it.
Smeb LO says, what we are facing is a power struggle between the street left and the government left. When the right realizes what is really facing, no one will be safe. I guess it's a good point. What is it, the street right? Or no, it says the struggle between the street left and the government
That's
left.
interesting.
No, I think there's also the street right. There's a lot of conservatives who are very active in politics, and then there are a bunch of regular conservatives who don't pay attention, who are probably armed and serious. Scott Brumley says, I will pay $50 if the IRL crew will sing I Want to Teach the World to Sing. I don't know that song,
That's
unfortunately.
the Coke song.
I don't know it either.
The Coke song?
The Coke song. I'd
Oh.
like to teach the world to sing or something.
I don't know it.
Yeah. Oh wow.
No,
It's
I
old
don't know
school.
it.
Old school.
Kieran Williams says, I am mixed white-black. My dad is conservative. I became a conservative. I rebelled against him. My white mom had no affiliation. I rebelled by acting gangsta, selling drugs, etc. I stopped. Sorry, Adam. It's also culture.
Okay.
Turtleburger says, the fact that you don't think the card is racist is what makes you and the card racist. That's what Twitter says, so it has to be true. It's where I get all my news and wisdom.
Yes, indeed.
Actually, there's a really good point about culture, too, in Chicago, because they have, on the South Side, just, being hard, where it's like, you got to be hard. You can't back down.
Yeah.
No one can challenge your name and your honor. And you also had gang culture. And
Okay.
the being hard stuff is why there's so much gun death in Chicago, where there's a big factor, because someone will insult someone else and they'll be like, I'm gonna go shoot you.
Yeah, you're not allowed to back down.
Yep.
Right.
It's a
And
sign
so-
of weakness.
Yeah, and they go buy guns. So that's something that doesn't really exist in suburban white American culture.
Yeah.
They go to rugby practice or whatever, or soccer moms,
Okay.
and then they play sports and then they go home. So they're definitely cultural issues, especially if you look at like, I think poor white people definitely have their cultural problems too.
Yeah.
Drugs, opiates, etc.
Mm-hmm.
and guns, but there's a different attitude, I guess, around it. I think it probably comes a lot from like, I guess like the symbol of like the Gadsden flag, for instance. Don't tread on me, let me do my thing.
Yeah.
Whereas in Chicago, they don't have that at all. It's like, if you come at me, I'll come at you, which is kind of the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone's so close together. It's like you're constantly in everyone else's spaces, and
Well,
no
it's
one.
like they adopted that because of the class problems in the first place.
There's a lot of overlap.
Like, what do you mean? Like
Well,
adopted?
Their new culture that you're saying that they have now, because they live in these situations, it's because they've been put in these situations, because it is the class issue that's kind of That's what Lydia said. They kind of mesh together. You know,
Yeah. I
don't-
It's like that's
think
right.
I think it would be interesting to look at how Chicago came to be a place where in certain areas. So in my neighborhood, for instance, I grew up by Midway Airport. There was no going hard culture like that at all.
Okay.
But we go 1 mile down. A lot of our friends did have this and did join gangs and did want to be tough.
Yeah.
And there was definitely a racial divide on these barriers. Like 47th Street was where across north of that was like housing projects in the black community. We had a lot of like we were across the street from one suburb called Stickney, which is mostly poor whites,
Okay.
and they were just like drug-addled redneck types. And then you had, if you cross Cicero, it became more Hispanic and Latino, and it really was very different. Like the cultures for each area was very, very different.
So, but then,
Even
but
within a
then
mile
you,
of each
but you
other.
take Chicago for example. It's like they took all of the Cabrini Green, for example.
Yeah.
They got rid of it and it forced everyone to the South Side. That is the definition of class. They were like, no, we're gonna wipe all of the low income housing. Anyone that's lower class, we're gonna get rid of them on the north side of Chicago because we're gonna make the north side of Chicago really pretty and nice for the upper class people. And everyone go down there and fight amongst yourselves. And
Well,
then deaths rose like crazy in Chicago.
It wasn't so simplistic. They were thinking, how do you stop all of this crime and gang activity?
Shove them all in the same place and it increased it all.
Yeah,
They were killing. It was Chirac for a long time.
It's still
You're right. It still is. I know exactly, but that's.
But why did they become people who are like, I'm gonna kill you if you disrespect me?
I mean,
Like I'm not saying I know. I think it would be.
I don't know the answer either.
That didn't exist in my neighborhood, but I could go 2 miles. I could walk 20 minutes and be in a
crazy.
neighborhood where that's how they felt.
I mean, I lived out in the suburbs of Chicago, like 45 minutes an hour out, and I had that exact thing when I got shot at. It's like it was because my friend's hat was cocked in a different direction, and they were
man.
like, "Take that hat off," and he was like, "No." And they were like, okay, and walked away, and then boom, bullets started riddling at us. It was
But your
crazy.
friend, like, so where did that culture come from? I guess, right?
I don't know. Where did it come from? Like,
Yeah, like I will kill you for something really dumb.
for the direction of your hat.
Yes.
Right, right,
That's what it was about.
Yep.
Seriously.
I don't know.
That's why I'd be interested to be like, to look into why it is that where I lived, there was a certain area that me and all my friends would frequent, and you could seriously go a couple miles and there was murder just everywhere, like straight murders. Like my buddy was telling me that he went out to take the garbage out and saw people dragging a carpet with feet hanging out.
Oh
Wow.
my
And that was like
gosh.
2 or 3 miles from my house, going straight down 63rd on the south side. So it's like you could literally walk there in like an hour or whatever. And you've gone to one area where the culture there is very suburban, mowing the lawn, going to Catholic school. You walk 1 mile and it's, are you in the gang yet? So like, it's just, I don't understand. And it wasn't necessarily a racial divide, but there typically was a racial divide.
So class breeds a new culture, and
I think you
in
might be
essence,
right.
you
Yeah.
know,
Maybe.
so it is one and the same.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a bunch of like, I can think of all the SJW arguments.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're traumatized, so they clearly are striking back because they're looking for a symbol to take down or some other academic BS.
It's like, no, they're stuck in a class they can't get out of. They don't have the privilege of being able to, their culture of you said like earlier, they're going to play rugby or football or whatever, football practice. It's like,
Right,
but in this area, it's,
but that
are
doesn't
you in the gang
explain-
yet?
That doesn't explain why in the same area within a mile or so, the same poverty index and everything, there's different cultures. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because culture exists. I'm not saying
Right,
culture
I'm-
doesn't exist. I
No,
never
I'm
said
saying
that.
I'd be curious to understand why it is that in an area where everyone basically is as poor as each other, you have different
So many
cultures
different
side by
cultures.
side. Like why is it that once you cross Cicero, all of a sudden you're in, like, it's all about this different way of thinking and doing things.
Yeah.
And we had friends on each side. We had friends who were, became gangbangers, and some people who lived in the nice area started doing drugs. But it's like everybody in the specific area was basically as poor as everyone else. It was the same class area,
Yeah.
but you literally had pockets of like different cultcultures once you cross certain barriers and certain divides. So I don't know. I'm just curious, like why? How
Interesting.
does that come to be?
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we got here. Brian Brinkeroff says, having a cis is the 70th in the 73rd witnessed firsthand the insp of SS Cup. Well, I don't know what this is. What is this?
I don't know what that means.
SS claimed that cleaning the machines chemically accidentally. I don't know what that is.
Is that
Sorry.
the cop that got poisoned or something?
The Shake Shack. Oh, okay.
I heard it was it could have been an
It could
accident.
have been an accident.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see, I
because of the
see.
way they
Is
clean
that what
the
they're talking
machines.
about?
A sis in the 73rd. Okay, you're talking about the police department.
There we go.
Witnessed firsthand the insp of Shake Shack cup. Okay, Shake Shack claimed that cleaning the machines chemical accidentally got in their cup when ordered 4:40 p.m. I don't know who cleans mid-shift, but it is suspicious. Yeah, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
It is
okay.
awfully suspicious.
We translated successfully.
Yeah. The deli, the deluxey. I don't know. When you are poor, you get desperate and take specific opportunities. These influence culture, and since you fight over resources, they separate into gangs.
That makes sense.
But it didn't affect my area. Like you could literally
Well,
cross
Tim,
the
you're
street.
white.
Oh yeah.
You have white
Oh,
privilege.
that's right.
That's true.
So,
okay.
You could literally cross the street, different culture.
yeah.
That's weird.
That is weird.
That's very weird.
I mean, not.
We're in a simulation. Only explanation.
And it's funny because everyone likes to say all Americans are the same.
Oh,
And
no.
that's
no,
like
no.
yeah, dude.
the biggest laugh ever because it's like Europeans. They get so offended
make me so
when
mad.
when you know like, oh well, aren't you the same as like Italians? And they're like,
Right.
whoa,
Oh,
whoa, whoa. It's like,
yeah.
yeah, but you're right next to each other.
Yeah.
How can all Americans be the same when we got a block difference?
Yeah.
Is night and day. It's like a different country.
We did a whole segment on this. They raised the whole housing projects 2 blocks from where I grew up.
Yeah, that's true.
Raised. It's nothing but grass.
That's
It's
what they did.
Crazy.
That's what they did with the north side of Chicago.
Yep.
So they're doing it. They're just trying to purge all of Chicago of low-income housing, and I mean,
Doesn't work that way.
if all these people move out into the countryside and get houses and farms, awesome, because that means they're going to be more self-sufficient and be able to fend for themselves. So it's like, all right.
Maybe the welfare is an addiction. That the more you expand it, the more you need to expand it, and it just never ends because you're giving people fish instead of teaching them to fish.
Yep.
And people need to be.
We got to teach people to fish.
Yep.
Amen.
Teach people to farm.
And that's the right welfare.
Teach people to live.
Yes.
So job placement programs, training programs, which they have, they
Yeah.
do, and sometimes they actually require them if you want to get certain welfare benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, the bad news is it is past 10 o'clock.
Oh.
Yeah, we kind of went off a little bit there.
That was a good
pretty good.
conversation.
Yeah, we
I
had a
like
good time
that
though.
conversation.
We had a good time, everybody.
That's
Yeah.
what this show is about.
That's
So-
right.
someone-
Having
Getting distracted.
conversations.
Tim is
Oh, yeah.
asking dangerous questions. Abort, abort. All right, we got one more super chat popped up. We got a couple. Jason Solo says, context on the China-Pakistan-India conflict. Asia is running out of fresh water, and China controls the source to all freshwater rivers.
Yeah.
Tibet.
Tibet.
What did I say?
Oh, snap.
What did you say?
Correct. It's going to be more
What?
valuable
I
than
told
oil.
you it was because of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's water wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to
Won't do
fill
very
you
well.
in with all my info.
The
I'll
Scott
wait,
says,
I'll wait till we actually talk about it.
I've been listening for a few nights, and you haven't read my super chats. Take this 20, spin the UFO, and notice me, damn it.
Yeah, okay.
There you go.
There you go.
I'm gonna spin it opposite. I don't do this often,
Spin it opposite. Ooh,
Got
that's
I don't
to
do
say
it
a bad
often.
Word.
but for you, I will.
Oh, thanks, man.
So here we go. It says, Zombie Shoot says, looks like the Antifa guy shot in New Mexico by the blue shirt guy had 2 knives in his hand. Pick on Twitter, watch video, and slow it down to see.
Wow, really?
No? Well, we'll see.
I mean, they were yelling, "Let's kill this dude."
Yeah. Straight up telling him they were going
Supposed
to
to
do it.
Yeah.
Before I even saw the knives, I was like, I'm not surprised. He shot them.
Yeah.
Oh, this is cool. Joseph Kasky says, read Sowell. He talks about how these cultures that exist in different parts of cities came to be. It's very dense and difficult to explain in a super chat. Cool.
Yep. I love that, man.
Ken W says, if you talk to Baitswa, they use the thinking that one is more intellectually smarter than others as right to look down on others. This superiority way of thinking is no different from racists. Definitely.
Yeah, and Oxford just said that, for their black students, they don't have to do as much work now. And
Yeah.
like, it's like, that's
So what's the degree worth?
that's so belittling.
Nothing.
Like you need help.
Yeah.
Your race means you need more help, and
That's
you don't have to do
ridiculous.
as much stuff as others. It's
Somebody
like,
noticed-
how demeaning is that?
Somebody noticed the shirt fade.
Oh yeah, this is
Oh, yeah.
this is my custom design. Yeah,
It's the post-apocalyptic
wash.
version.
Yeah, he survived.
But Grim
This
Soul,
was one day of skateboarding.
Yeah, that's right.
but hold on. Grim Soul Banisher says turn your shirts inside out.
Yeah, that's what I
Protect
did
the
with
design.
mine. Yeah, it worked great.
However, this is because this is literally the first shirt that was made.
Yeah, it's true.
And
his was the
apparently
first.
it happens. So we
No,
got the first-
straight up, the ink was wet when
Oh,
when
wow.
I got the shirt.
Oh, wow.
It was still wet. I was
Oh,
like, whoa,
snap.
because they got
I
it to
hear,
us. We
uh,
got it like 2 days later.
Right.
Yeah.
I hear ironing it.
Yeah, ironing
yeah,
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
give it an
dry it
iron
out.
and then turn it inside out and wash it.
But
Yeah.
to be honest, I love it.
I like it too.
I love this.
It looks like my eye's been ripped out.
Yes.
Scars.
I did that.
Hardcore.
I did that after Friday night. I was like, rip your eye out, Tim. No, just kidding.
Sure. I don't believe it.
Somebody super chatted saying stop the UFO.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Excuse me?
What? We can't do
I've
that.
never said this before. Get out.
All right,
That's right. Get out.
Ladies and gentlemen,
All right, Adam.
there is something that I need you to do for us.
Oh, what is it?
Smash the like button.
Oh,
Smash,
snap.
smash, smash.
Smash that like button. And
Smash it before you go.
That's right.
So we usually do the show up until about 10 p.m. So we are going to be back tomorrow at 8 p.m.
Yes.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at TimCast.
Yes.
Do it because I complain about stuff
Do
all
it.
the time, and I know you love hearing it.
He does.
Yes.
You can also follow at Adam Krigler.
He does not complain.
No, you actually he doesn't. He actually communicates with you, and you can send him story ideas we use for the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, not only that, I read what you guys are saying about the stories, and I use that, I talk about it. I feel like, a lot of you guys kind
That's
of
valuable.
feel the same as me, you don't know where you belong politically. It's just kind of like what is going on in the world. And I really do appreciate all your comments. You guys are really helping me out, all of you. So thank you for
Yeah, man.
appreciate it.
And you can also follow at Sour Patch Lids, LYDS.
Yes. I have memes.
And you can send her things as well.
You can. Please do.
And
So
remember the meme contest.
Yes.
Go to my Twitter. We're going to have Friday, we're going to announce the winner to give away this board here.
The school board. We're
So,
signing it? I don't know.
Yes. Oh, totally. We're going to
Oh,
sign
yeah.
it. Yeah.
I got my cool Sharpies.
If you want to win this Harumph board signed by the Timcast crew, you guys go to my Twitter at Adam Krigler and make a design. And also, we got a few of these boards, so I also have another tweet that you can find. Give me an idea. What kind of a contest should we have?
Ooh.
So we can, if you're really, really good at something, maybe you can sway it.
A Hunger Games.
Ooh, a Hunger Games.
Hunger
Go
Games.
ahead, explain it, Tim.
Yeah, so basically, we'll fly you out to an island, unleash you at the same time.
Everyone
There-
gets one board.
There will be a central area full of weapons.
Skateboards?
It's a Hunger Games.
Oh, well, skateboards apparently are really good
And
weapons,
whoever
okay?
survives gets the board.
Okay.
Just one.
All right, this one. There
Yeah.
can only be one.
There
Harumph.
can be only one.
Okay.
Anyway, everybody, thanks for hanging out. Make sure you subscribe. If you haven't done it, smash that subscribe button.
Correct.
Oh, the
Smash that notification bell.
Oh, getting into it. Yes.
Way to take control there. I
Yeah.
like that.
That's right. Love it.
All right.
We'll be back. Also, for those that don't know, we're on iTunes and Spotify and all those other things. So if you want to get us there, you're not around, you can pick us up on any one of these podcast platforms for the audio version of this show.
Yes.
The audio version of the show.
Yeah.
I like the way you said that. That's good.
Oh yeah, it was the.
So if you're
traditional
only
podcast.
hearing what we're saying, then you could check us out on all these different places.
Yes.
We should make a special. We want to get a soundboard too because we really want to get that Greta. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you?
Yeah, that's good.
And we'll do like different pitches. We should pitch Bennett. How dare
Slow
you?
motion. Or what's
Yes.
the guy who farted? What did he
Oh
Eric
yeah,
Swalwell. Yes.
Swalwell.
Cheat an election. Cheat an election.
That's so good.
That would be a great
Oh,
one.
that'd be so much fun for this upcoming election.
That's so
Yeah.
good. We
Oh,
have to
man.
get it. We will.
Dude, because when the actual election results are coming in and we're live, we're gonna be mashing that.
Are we
button.
gonna? Can we do that? Can we stream live?
Yeah, we won't. We
do it.
won't show the actual channels, but
right.
We'll,
We could talk about
but
it.
what we'll do is
Well,
we'll
our
have
show will probably go into
Yeah.
we'll have a literal Swalwell button, and whenever we get a certain super chat amount, we'll press it.
it. Yes.
So it's like, and then
I love
when
this.
results come in, and it's like Donald Trump wins Ohio, cheat an election.
Yeah.
It's like, did Donald Trump actually cheat an election?
Nice.
That's what he said, right? Cheat an election.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love
I
it.
think so. I'm going off you right now. So
I think that's right. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Do all the things we told you to do about
Yes,
liking and
please.
smashing stuff.
Smashing
and
it.
then
Follow us.
we will see you all tomorrow at 8 p.m. live. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next time.
Smash.
Bye, guys.